Archon Team League Championships. I'm joined by Amaz, or I'm joined by Frodan actually right now. To
We
bring you guys the
switched
next
it.
match between Celestial and Liquid. How's it going, Frodan?
Well, Amaz, it's going all right. Just gonna, let the viewers and everybody know what
Oh,
happened to the
the jig's
viewer
up. You're
change.
not Frodan. You're
Yeah.
actually Amaz.
Oh man. But yeah,
You fooled people
we
for a second there.
but with the caster switch, we realized that it wasn't working out as expected. There are a little bit too many offenses, I guess, and I'm just gonna sub in for today. But don't worry, guys. We'll have we review the caster group once this today is finished, and we'll have perfect broadcast next week. I hope. But for now, you guys get me.
Yeah, we'll hold a candle vigil after this broadcast. Everyone's welcome to join us. In the meantime, let's focus on the positive. We have a great match coming up, and it's the first time we'll be seeing Team Celestial versus Team Liquid up on the stream. Now, you might have heard of Team Liquid if you follow a lot of games, whether it's through StarCraft. Team Liquid's also really doing well in Heroes of the Storm and a few other games. But you might not have heard too much of Team Celestial. Can you go ahead and give the background of what you know, Amaz, about this team?
I just know that Tidler is, well, in my opinion, the best player in the world right now. I saw him play at DreamHack. I actually see him play in a lot of events, right? There was the VIA game thing as well, and he just plays really, really well. The only time he messes up is when he won the game already, and it was only once in DreamHack. So I think he's actually one of the best players, if not the best right now. So that's certainly gonna be the highlight. Of that team. Frozen Ice and Silent Storm, not much is known about them. I guess Silent Storm played in some ESL tournaments, right? Do you know much about his playstyle?
Yeah, Silent Storm is known to be a really big, unusual player. Like he likes taking decks and making them surprise people. In the ESL LAN, when he won the Legendary Series Season 1, he did it with a lineup that was really weird. He was the first to really try to make Demon Log work. People were like, why is he playing like Implosions and Mal'Ganis and Mistress of Pain? That's what he was doing.
Right.
And he also brought a lineup with Priest and at the time Mage when no one was playing Mage post GVG, and he was also playing Shaman at the time, a lot of mid-range Shaman. So he's a very unconventional player. That's why people really like watching him because his decks are unique. And Frozen Ice is kind of like Taiwan's Kolento, or hyped in a way, like really known for always topping the ends of ladder. Played like Miracle Rogue and Patron Warrior a lot. Like he's kind of like Roger too, who just basically like a practice machine, literally loves grinding it out. So these guys are really fearsome. If you don't know about them now, don't be too mad when they beat your favorite players later, because I think that they come in here as one of the teams to probably take one of those offline spots by force. And if you're underestimating them, you won't be for very long.
Yeah, but let's not forget about Team Liquid, of course. Savage has been a veteran since Hearthstone's start, and of course, they recently picked up Sho, a very strong player. No surprise that he's running the Warrior for their team, and of course, Naria has been doing pretty well as well. Still looking for that big tournament win, but maybe it's going to be the Team League Championships. Who knows?
Yeah, I kind of imagine the way Team Liquid gathered together and strategized for this was Show was like, okay, I'm playing Warrior. Let's take
the first thing ever.
The other 8 classes, yeah. And so he's like, well, okay, I'll play whatever. And Nyria loves playing his own specialized decks. I'm actually surprised Nyria is not on Warlock, considering that he's been one of the primary innovators for that Malygos Warlock that we've been loved seeing so far. But I'm curious, like the Mage here is an interesting pick too. I really think that Freeze Mage is pretty good in this format for sure, but I also feel like other parts of Mage are underrepresented because they're also really strong. It feels like Freeze Mage definitely is the strongest, but there is room to also surprise an opponent too in this type of format.
Yeah, especially with all the patrons running around, Freeze Mage is definitely a much better choice because it's only really weak against Control Warrior. Because you guys mentioned beforehand in this cast that Freeze Mage against Patron, you can just burn him out of like minions, and then they don't have anything else to like really kill you, and it goes to fatigue. So that's something we can definitely see.
All right, cool. Well, I think the first game is about to start, but let's get to learn these players a little bit more. We also have another video just to show you a little bit more and get to know these guys better. My name is Dan Cho. I go by the name Frodan. I'm the manager of Templar Hearthstone team, and I also work for Twitch as their Hearthstone's partnerships lead. Well, I like that Archon's bringing something new, but not too new that it completely throws everything out of order. It's an interesting twist on not only just being able to play Conquest, but also the team dynamics. So I think bringing unique classes and having a really good lineup of preparation, people really undervalue that because it requires a little bit of unique deck building as well as it gives you the ability to play styles, because not everyone has to play the same 3 decks in a best-of-5 Conquest format. The secret of being a good caster is the secret to being a good player. It's just practice, hard work, dedication, and a little bit of luck. You have to network, be able to talk to the right people, but also be prepared to be in the right spot and be able to go at any time. My biggest achievement in life so far is probably just being able to make a living off of this industry in general. There was a time where I wasn't doing very well, I was a college dropout, and I pursued my dreams and what I love doing, and this is everything that I could have asked for. I think when people have to deal with negative criticism and just in general people bashing on them a little bit, I think the most important thing is to listen to what they have to say and try to ignore the tone of what they're trying to say. A lot of times people, they express disinterest or antagonism because there's something that maybe they're trying to help you with, but maybe you're lost in the wording, like, no, I'm not horrible or bad, or forget the wording, just try to interpret the tone and see what they're driving at. There's a lot of advice that I'd want to give a person who's first getting into the industry of esports. There's a lot of generic ones too, be yourself, don't be stupid, watch and learn, be humble. These things are pretty, run-of-the-mill. Everyone already has heard these type of pieces of advice. The most important thing that I would tell people to do is to find the right group of friends and circle of influence. I can't just express enough gratitude towards how well everything's been received. I'm just an average person doing what I love, and I can't believe everyone has been so supportive of everything that I've done. I'm so lucky to be where I am, and I want to just always say that I never take anything for granted. I read all the comments, I try to read all the emails and answer as much as I can. And even though I'm only one person, I really hope I can try to represent everybody to the best of my abilities. So thank you so much. All right, so we got to know me a lot better, which is awesome because I'm my favorite subject to talk about.
Whoa,
so thank you very much, Amaz, for that.
I like the workout.
That was just so humiliating. Why'd you show that?
Wait, where can people find the full workout clip that you did?
I am actually on a mission to burn every trace of those videos on the internet, but to no avail, it doesn't work because the internet lives forever. So be careful, kids. I am an example of how not to do things at a young age to try to gain fame. Don't do it. It's not worth it. In the meantime, guys, we're ready for our first match. We're just going to blow through it. We have Silent Storm versus Savitz. Silent Storm, well, I got to admit, man, he's holding his cards very Yu-Gi-Oh-esque style. And Savitz, he's holding a dagger. I'm guessing because Rogue is his favorite class.
Yeah, Rogue is his favorite class. I mean, I had that when the artist asked me for notes for each player, and I was really surprised that Savitz is actually using Rogue in this series. So that's not really an accurate picture, but still, he won a lot of tournaments with Rogue, right? He won C Story with the Malagos Rogue. That was very successful actually at the time. I don't think anybody's playing Malagos Rogue now at all, but we're gonna see a mirror match to start here. Both Warlocks. What do you expect these Warlocks to be?
Well, I think Savitz would bring Handlock, but he's actually capable of playing anything. Actually, both players are really capable of bringing anything. I feel like Silent Storm would bring more of the weird stuff, like if he wants to bring Demon Lock or Demon Handlock or Mally Ghost Warlock. What about you? What do you think?
I think both players are going to bring Mally Lock, but judging by this hand, I think at least one person is bringing Zoo.
Yeah, well, maybe a mid-range Zoo because he's got some other things. And there are ways to differ across the zoos. Some people top out at Mal'Ganis. Some people be really aggressive. We've seen people also go super aggressive, right? Like Dark Bomb and Soulfire, and playing really big burn cards.
It's interesting that Savitz chose to keep the whole hand there. I guess you're kind of hedging your bets, I guess, with the abusive. But I feel like the abusive is not really going to be played at turn 1 now, is it?
Probably not. I mean, the good thing about Zoo now is that because the way it ramps up and the way you can gain tempo, you don't actually have to have the blistering fast start all the time. There's still ways for you to win, even without it. That's nice though. Flame Imp Bunker.
Flame Imp is the best. It's the best top deck actually. And both players are actually playing Zoo. That's I did not expect that at all. Since Sandstorm did bring that, it was the combo lock that he brought at ESL, right? It wasn't Demon Lock.
Oh, I think you might be right.
Yeah, it was the Archon Golem with the Power of Whelmings and the Facelesses.
Right. I think that it is right, and he was like using Zalae's version, in fact, but like with his own spin on it.
Right. But yeah,
yeah, you're completely right. It was like the combo demon. I just remember he played Mistress of Pain. I was like, what? Yeah. So
yeah,
if I can recall that, I think he also had a Demon Heart, which was really cool too.
Yeah, some cool cards. But for this one, I guess we'll just have to see if people, if these players are gonna actually hit some big demons with Bane of Doom, right? Is that a card you actually like in Zoo? Because I think it's like super powerful, but it is a 5-mana card, so you can't really run things like Lotheb anymore.
Yeah, it's extremely expensive, but I think it provides a lot of interesting flexibility to Zoo because sometimes you need to reach past things and like eliminate them, especially if you're playing this type of match where there's a lot of annoying things being tucked away, like the knife jugglers and whatnot. So I think it's okay personally.
Okay, and it can go past taunts, right?
Though. Yeah, I've seen you use it a lot though.
Yeah,
so
I
don't know
use
necessarily
double copies because I mean, why not summon a Morganus? I mean, my RNG is good, but yeah, I've been phasing it out lately because it's very expensive. I think.
I think Bane of Doom is like a perfect card for you, Amaz, because you were playing the Priest for a while, and everyone was like, hoping, like they were wanting to watch your thought steals. That was the big thing.
Right.
And then you started, realizing Priest might not be the best class to bring, so you started gravitating towards other stuff, Hunters and Handlocks, etc. But like, where was the Amaz flair? And then when Bane of Doom came out, started getting reworked. I was like, oh, that's definitely an Amaz card for sure.
Well, the thing is like. Thought Steal is better than Bane of Doom for sure because it's just like you can pull more legendaries, right? And like Bane of Doom, you kind of need there's a requirement. Yeah, well, one legendary. Yeah, sure, okay. So. 2 is more than 1. So here Savage, is looking like his board is pretty weak actually. So Sandstorm can actually have an option to tap here if he wants to, just to match up on the card size. But no, he's just gonna play everything down. And hope for a good Bane of Doom next turn.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that the implosion was so swingy, where it just very clearly dictated that he's not able to do anything on that turn. Mm-hmm. But I mean, this matchup's still far from over based off the way the hands look, right?
Yeah.
If you can deal with the board one time where you have a lot of cleanup, where you get a big taunt or big minion, then I mean, it's as simple as Void Caller pulling out Mal'Ganis or Doomguard.
Yeah, it looks like Savage has a very good next turn with the Void Terror basically forcing the Void Caller to die. Actually, we have a Shredder in the Zoo deck. That's something we don't see too often.
That's really curious. Pilot Shredder. That's something that I wasn't expecting. Just because it feels like... It kind of makes sense if you're playing more of a mid-range style anyways. The Pilot Shredder is great for building the board. But like, what's the purpose do you think it functions other than just having a really strong, sticky, sturdy minion?
In-game is pretty good. But yeah, I think the function is to actually defeat more mid-rangey decks, right? I mean, against something like Rogue or something like a Warrior, Shredder is their worst nightmare, so they have to kill it twice. And I guess that's what's going through Silent Storm's head when he's going through the deck building process. He's expecting more of those, or maybe he just wants a better matchup against those classes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, a bit unique, I guess. Not everybody's playing Shredders. And this Sea Giant from Savage is going to do a lot of work.
Yeah, he's actually got a way to play Sea Giant and Void Terror this turn, right?
Is there?
Yeah, so I think you kill the Haunted Creepers.
Oh, that's actually really cute.
Play I don't know if you want to do that per se, because it might be better to eliminate the higher attack minions. But if you want to go for like the biggest swing possible.
Wait, but can you even do that? I don't think you can, because you kill the creeper and only one takes its place, right? So it's gonna be at 3 mana. So yeah, I don't think it works out as well.
No, because then you summon another minion with Void Terror.
Yeah, but then you eat your Void Caller as well.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, so
maybe I
it's like,
miscount.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, he
maybe I
got the
missed.
Doom Guard. Oh my god.
Oh, but he doesn't have time. Does he have time to play it?
Oh,
Or do anything with it?
did he attack with it? Was it?
I think he did. I think he did. He like hovered over it.
Oh, okay. Okay. Wow.
Ooh, close moment. Close moment.
That would suck if he. Oh man. Doom Guard as well. I think Doom Guard is just too important here.
Yeah, I think you're okay with parting ways with the Pilot Shredder. You can kill off the Void Terror and then play this Doom Guard and control the board.
Oh wow. No. He actually wants to
there it is.
get more value out of his cards. So Implosion in the middle. That's pretty bad.
Yeah, Sea Giant is gonna be.
Sea Giant's gonna be amazing. Oh man.
Pretty cheap.
Yeah, that's
It's a 3
3
mana.
mana.
Sea Giant.
3 mana Sea Giant.
Oh.
That's not a very good card though. The best would be a 2-drop right now. Nah, 1-drop's fine, I guess. Why not?
Yeah, the Void Caller is surprisingly effective, given that his opponent doesn't really have a way to push through it effectively, other than just 1/1s crashing against it, or he wants to use Doom Guard.
And, well, I guess you can... Wait, that's kind of weird.
What's
this
weird?
is kind of awkward. Because, like, if you play the Void Walker first, you can't play the Doom Guard without sacrificing a 1/1.
Yeah, you can just push in the 1/1s here. It's fine.
Yeah, okay.
I like that he's keeping the imps too.
Yeah,
in case he has Mal'Ganis, then the imps get this demon synergy.
Of course. Would I like the Shredder to be in the middle, right?
Generally speaking, yes. I think there was an exception that I was told once based off Violet Teacher. If Violet Teacher is in your deck, then you generally want the Pilot Shredder to be on the outside because then the 1/1s get the buffs over the Violet Teacher.
And of course, we're talking about the Flame Tongue Totem or the Direwolf Alpha that pops out of the Shredder.
Right, because it gives the minions next to it plus attack.
Small optimization. I actually lost the DreamHack match because that one game I forgot to do that. I got Flame Tongue and then I couldn't get 2 damage.
Was it a match that it was in Swiss? Or
it wasn't streamed. It wasn't streamed.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you made your life harder by doing that. Okay.
Yeah.
You still end up qualifying for top 8 like a boss.
Right. But still, it's you're not supposed to do like mistakes like these at such a high level. But right now, Savage is looking like he's in a very troubling spot because the thing is like if he taps right now, he's down to 11 and he's actually dead from Doomguard. So he might actually skip on tapping, but man,
he's staring at the world's most valuable Void Walker. It's a 1/8. It absorbed 8 damage.
Right. But Savage not tapping means that he's going to survive one more turn. But if I'm Silent Storm right now, I would just play Doomguard and just go all face. Because he can't. If your opponent can't tap anymore, the options are super limited. And of course, you play the in-game boss first.
Yeah, you utilize the 8 mana and play the Doomguard. Pilot Shredder still be on the outside.
That's true.
Guess he's an introvert.
If the Doomguard is placed on the left.
That's true. There's still potential. No?
Yeah. Doomguard likes the spotlight.
Doomguard's he likes the attention. He likes being
Oh, actually gonna hedge his best one more time. I guess Sandstorm did lose to double power overwhelming, but it's highly unlikely. So here, I guess the Savage is gonna die anyways. You might as well just tap here. Hope for Argus.
Right. Defender of Argus would be great.
Yep. Everything else would be kind of bad.
Oh my sweet lord. Mary of Joseph.
Commentator's blessing, I guess.
That is crazy. So if he does this, though, does he still survive? Because he's working on effectively 13 health, and his opponent will have 13 damage next turn.
Well, 15 health because the Argus buffs them by 1. Right.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, sorry, I forgot.
So
about
would you go face with the giant? I would pretty much go face here.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason to clear something if you can't clear them all.
Yes, I agree. You actually make it a little bit easier sometimes to get through by doing so. The alternative is to try to attack a thing that makes it the least convenient. Like, so for example, naturally he'll want to use his Doomguard to try to go into the giant because it's on low health anyways.
Sure.
But so then you try to like make it so it's awkward, but there's really no way to make it awkward trade for Silent Storm. So I like the face attack.
Oh my god, double Shredder. Jesus.
So he's not got one or two. He's got 2 Shredders.
Yeah, 2 Shredders.
Yeah.
Oh wow, can we get lethal with some juggles?
Potentially, because he's got
he's got a lot.
Yeah, he's got 3 juggles at least.
Yep. So the first one, we'll see where it goes. Oh, face is good. Face is good.
Well, actually, anything that's just not the Argus, right?
Oh yeah, that's true. Actually,
there's 3 out of 4 targets you want to hit.
Yeah. All right. So here's another one.
Whoa! Oh, is that the end of the dream? Yeah, it doesn't really matter. It's still like really tough for Savit to come back from this spot.
Oh really? He just needs to top the Doomguard. That's not that hard. Boom. No. Okay, so here's the question, right?
Or
well, do you want to play Mal'Ganis here?
I wouldn't. I think Mal'Ganis is the real safe play, and it's like the guarantee thing. He has to draw Owl to get past it and kill you, right, or his own damage, or his own damage.
Yeah, but then he kills your Mal'Ganis pretty much, right? Like,
right. But then you squeeze in. He's gonna dedicate 7 damage to Mal'Ganis.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. You should tap first. So if Savage is doing this, he's gonna play Mal'Ganis, right?
Right.
So I think you kill the Shredder and hope for a minion that has less than 2 attack, so that your Mal'Ganis actually sticks on the board.
Right, but you should kill the juggler first, I think.
Oh man, he's thinking about it. He's thinking of tapping just to win right now. This is really hard. He hasn't Savage hasn't seen a Doomguard yet.
It's also like Abusive Sergeant hypothetically could help him too if you got the juggle. But I think this is just the real safe guaranteed play.
Oh yeah, okay. Oh man, that's not a good one.
Well, yeah, there's still hope though. It's not completely over. That's not helpful at all.
Dead. Yeah, what is this one? Oh, that's also a dead card. Jesus.
Well, the Pilot Shredder might pop something though. Well, that stops Doomguard.
That does actually stop. Yeah. Well, Savage is gonna. If Savage sees a Doomguard, he's gonna be pretty pissed off because he would have won.
He exposes himself now to an Owl in the Doomguard.
Oh, but then that's 2 card combo. I don't think you play around that, right? Yeah. Oh, wait. That's 3 juggles. So you need 2 juggles to hit the Flame Imp, at least, to stay alive.
What if it hits 3 times the Unstable Ghoul, and then it hits the Boombots go to the face and kill him?
That's a win, right?
I want that to happen, Amaz.
I think everybody does.
And he can actually double... Oh, he can double his chances, because he can power overwhelming one of the Boombots.
The Boombots, yeah.
And that
that's
dies
actually really cool. Wow. Okay, let's try. Actually, so if one juggle actually goes to the face, he might have a lethal chance too.
He might have a lethal chance.
All right.
He's gonna go for it.
He's a big juggler, and... Oh, that's good. That's good. That makes him stay alive. Oh my god, he stays alive. Wait, so do you power form him now? Because if you hit the egg, you lose.
But if you also hit the face for 4, he can't tap.
Okay, so do you take the chance here?
I would say so. You have Dr. Boom on the field.
Oh, Savage is a gambler. Where's the Boomer gonna go?
1 out of 4.
Oh no!
Oh, okay. Wouldn't have mattered, but that's still
it mattered, but still, it was quite disastrous.
Rightfully so, Silent Storm didn't show the card that Savit he drew anyways, because he would have beaten Savit no matter the outcome of that Boombot hitting. But that was really fun. That was a really fun way to end the game.
Zoo games are not supposed to be that fun, I think. Well, maybe sometimes with Bane of Doom shenanigans and whatnot, but that was a really cool Zoo game. And Celestial is on the board.
There it is. So first game out of the way for Silent Storm. And what's important about beating Warlock in Conquest is that not only do you get to see the cards, but now you know what it is. So you can pass the information to your teammates. They don't have to mulligan as defensively for certain things, or they can be more aggressive with how they go for their early game mulligans. So I like that this is a really powerful move for Celestial, and Team Liquid's already on the back foot.
Would you think that both teams are kind of on that strategy, just queuing Warlock first? I think you might be onto something because, yeah, people have to guess what type it is. They'll mulligan incorrectly, and if it wins, then, you know, it's safe.
Yeah, that's why I like Warlock to start off in any Conquest lineup format, because, I mean, in any deck, the most powerful it'll ever be is in the first time you play it. So I think Warlock gets amplified based off its versatility. Mage too, to a certain extent, but it feels like we haven't seen anything that's not Freeze Mage, right? Have you seen any other non-Freeze Mage decks so far?
Not really. I mean, I actually, in the Starlight tournament just now, I went 0-6 with my Temple Mage. I won with all of my other decks. So it was pretty crushing. It's really good against aggro, but then there's we'll see it in the second week. Because actually, I predicted Colento to bring Priest. He's been playing
I
so
thought so
much
too.
Priest.
He plays it for all of his open tournaments as well. But maybe there's just not a build for Priest that he figured out just yet. You saw Colento messing around on stream too. He's playing like Dragon Priest or Resurrect Priest. Like he was experimenting with a bunch of stuff, but it just feels like it's just not as good of a control deck as other control decks, and well, it's a terrible aggro deck. So there's no way you can really make that work. There's one aggro deck, did you see on the Chinese ladder, where you play you play like a bunch of the early game drops, like Northshire Clerics and the Death Lords, but you also play like Mind Blasts and Holy Smites.
Oh,
and you also and then you actually have Jeeves, and that's the highest cost card in your entire deck.
Jesus, okay, not that. Yeah, but Firebat showed me Freeze Priest deck that has like Valen and double Mind Blast as the finisher, but you kind of have to draw Emperor, right? He says the win rate is actually over 50%. To people who don't know what it is, and if people know what your deck is, then it's under 50%. So,
well, the interesting thing about this Priest deck is that I think it hit top 10 Legend in China.
Oh, wow!
So it was I don't mind. I can show it to you later because I think maybe it'd be fun. But I showed it to some other guys in Demo Store, and they're like, nah. Yeah, it's bad. I was like, okay.
Yeah, China decks are always very very creative, right? They really like their Kazan Mystics and Harrison Jones. They like those swing cards a lot. So well, I think we're gonna see some from the Team Celestial's decks that they brought today.
I want to see what Frozen Ice has, because I think he's one of the big wild cards here in the series. We sort of know what to expect from the other 5 players. A lot of them are solid ladder guys, tournament players, performers. But Frozen Ice, he actually doesn't have many tournament results. And the reason why I compare him to Hyped in the first place is because it feels like the same way. He's very respected amongst the peers that are familiar with him. He does really great on ladder, but his tournament results, they're just kind of lacking. In BlizzCon, he got pretty far in his region, but he wasn't able to get the final hump over. And a lot of the tournaments he enters in Taiwan, it's usually like Tom60229 or Roger are the Taiwanese players that people pay attention to, and they don't really know Frozen Ice. I just
think his picture looks like a magazine cover. So
yeah, he's also a GQ model. That also is, you know, in stark contrast to some of the other people who also play Hearthstone. They're more focused on the Hearthstone aspect of it. He clearly is well groomed.
Okay, that's important too, right?
It is, because there's more to life than just playing Hearthstone. Not much more, but there's still a few things here and there.
All right.
Like, well, hygiene's very important to Moz. And I hope everyone who ever goes to a Hearthstone event also knows that.
Sure. That reminded me of a conversation I had with somebody. I don't know. I think it's Chalky. Like, he mentioned that some player was like really smelly, and then it was actually getting to his nerves, and he played worse than, you know, he previously did.
Oh man, the ultimate mind game.
Yeah, is that even allowed though?
Distract your opponent.
I think they should include it in the rules that you must shower, or you must at least, you know, be a bit hygienic.
Can you put it at least in the Archon rules?
The Archon rules. We're gonna make some crazy rules for the live finale. Like, you have to dress up as an angry chicken if you get beat by the card.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I'm looking forward to see where you guys go with that, because I think that could be either really funny or really awkward, or maybe both.
We'll definitely do the workout segments with you, Frodan.
Nope, I'm not coming. Change my mind, guys.
Okay, so we have Tidler as Warrior right here, and Show is going to play as Hunter. You know the Show graphic there? What does it resemble?
It looks kind of like Death Note. Wait. It's not ringing a bell. It looks very menacing. Like
what?
Like,
really? Okay. Oh man, thought I got the reference across. Maybe chat knows, but it's the warrior pose. It's Garrosh's pose. You know, he's sitting on his throne, kind of thing.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh man.
Oh, I can kind of see it now. Yeah, I think you should have brought out the tusks on him, kind of like Garrosh has those little
that's
like.
Going all the way, man. All right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a reference. You have to kind of go all out. I'm really slow on these type of things, man. I don't get sarcasm very easily on.
I mean, the Colento is a pirate. I don't think.
That was very literal, right? I like that. Okay. But this is just looking like, you know, I stole his tuna sandwich for lunch or something. He's looking at me pretty angrily.
Okay. Oh, here we go. They finally loaded. Sorry about the delay because apparently the first game crashed. So we're just gonna have to redo the game here. And looks like we have a patron versus a
Hunter.
we don't know yet. Yeah, a hunter. That's right.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for, Amos.
Thanks, thank you.
Yep.
That's what we got you for.
So you pay me the big bucks. We got a show with the Patron Warrior, but more importantly, he's got early game plays to do. Sometimes the Patron Warrior takes too much pressure from Hunter, and that leads to them taking too much damage, and they can't answer because Hunter has some pretty high value minions. Like, how do you deal with Mad Scientist efficiently sometimes, or how do you deal with a high main if it gets down really safe?
Well, I think it just depends on if the warrior has like a weapon early on, like Fire War Axe. That's really much the answer to all aggressive, decks that are aggressive, I guess. And right now, Tiddler doesn't have one, so he has to come up with some creative way to deal with this Net Juggler and minions to follow as well.
Well, Amaz said that he thinks Tiddler's the best player in the world. Reynad actually agrees, so this first time thing,
Are we agreeing on something here?
Yeah,
whoa, Tiddler busting up the fan? Oh my god.
It's a Hearthstone fan too, right?
Wow.
I think so. Yeah, because you can see the guys playing Hearthstone right there in the yard.
Remember when Trump busted a fan before?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. And I remember thinking the same thing I'm thinking now, which is, why do you need a fan? I'm very curious. Maybe it's more of a moral thing. Maybe it's like...
Rodan, not everybody has as many fans as you, okay?
Says the guy with the biggest fan in the room. I get it. The thing about the fan, too, is that it gives you something to hold. So maybe mentally you're able to, like, process things a little bit better. This is a really great play, by the way. Clearing the board, drawing cards, sets up for Battle Rage. This is a bad spot for the Hunter. Oh, well...
well, this is a little bit of a relief, but I guess you still can't play anything else to back up the Animal Companion, right? So do you just like quick shot this hero power and set up an Animal Companion with a freezing trap next turn? Because the main goal of a hunter is to play a high main on empty board, right? The high main rule, as in like that's what you're trying to accomplish, right?
Yeah, I mean you have two high mains in your hand, so you might as well go ahead and focus your entire mid-game win condition based upon these cards, being able to get as much mileage as possible.
Yeah.
Sure, Hunter might be able to, or sure, Warrior might execute that card. They might even deal with the first high main, but the second high main, assuming you can get that down safely and Warrior's still struggling to set up their own win condition, that's going to be really devastating to handle.
Especially, you don't really see warriors keeping execute, right? So they have to draw to the second one when two high mains are up. Show is gonna freeze Tiddler's Acolyte to prevent more draw, and oh man, that's a pretty good card. See, if he actually quick shot the Acolyte and set up a freezing trap, he would have a very nice board this turn with the trap up and the two minions. And then the Savant Hymen comes down the board. With this play, he gets to keep the quick shot, but I think with the other play, he would have more board. So now Tiddler actually has a chance to kind of try and deal with this board.
How should he, though? There's multiple ways to play this turn.
Without Despite, it gets kind of difficult.
Okay, so he's going for the draw as many cards as possible route. Oh.
Yeah,
okay, so
kills off the Leok, draws two cards.
Yeah.
And then probably just play the Acolyte. Oh, you have an option here.
Yeah, Fiery War Axe might look like the appealing option, but I think he still wants to draw cards. And also it fills out his curve too. Next turn he also can play Slam, Fiery War Axe, and make it a little bit more even on the mana.
Sounds right. I expect this to be another freezing because the Wolf Rider just appeared on your hand. And the only way a Wolf Rider appears in a Savannah high main deck is if it's hybrid, right? And hybrids only run two traps. And those are both freezings.
Generally speaking, yes. But I feel like there's also this weird dynamic where sometimes the hunters feel obligated to mix things up. Maybe for no reason at all, because maybe to be less predictable.
Okay.
So sometimes it's like, a random snake trap or something like that.
Yeah, but sometimes you go into so big lengths to be different, and you just screw up your deck at the end, right?
Yeah, I can completely agree with. I think sometimes people try too hard to be different and unique, just for the sake of doing it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They're like they convince themselves that snake trap's better when it's like probably not. You know, maybe the two fuse trap is better.
Well, I respect their choice, but sometimes you still gotta win the game. That's basically what it comes down to. So we see that Sho has the second high main, and once again, it's very hard for warriors to deal with this. And it looks like Tiller can't even with his current hand.
What now?
Also, one turn off the combo, right?
Well, could he set it up so that way it'd be better next turn to do it?
Well,
Like
if you
Deathbite
do,
now?
it's probably Deathbite, right? And you really don't want to hit the hyena because you want to propagate more patrons. So do you just, Deathbite the face?
I suppose so. You have to get to a second charge somehow.
Yeah.
One
does
thing's
set
for
up
sure.
It does set up to kill the high main as well, but you'll be taking another 6 damage from the 10 you're going to take this next turn. And it just looks really, really tough in this situation. Tiller is going to hit the face here just so the execute can do work next game. Next game. Jesus, next turn.
That's right. He's going to execute him so hard it'll kill him next game. It'll show that hyena who's boss.
Oh, wow. This might be lethal, actually, if he gets the right animal companion here. Oh, that's a good one, too.
Still a lot of damage. 16.
It's the exact same damage as a Huffer.
Oh, my gosh. That's
Oh,
4
man.
damage off the Wolf Rider, so it's just as good as Huffer.
Yeah, that is a lot of pressure. Oh my god.
Alright, well, it was a nice try, Tiddler. But I don't think he's going to be able to do this.
Whoa. Wait a minute here. Oh no. He doesn't have like 12 mana.
Yeah, I hate it when that happens. You just don't have 12 mana. Keep in mind the Leopard Gnome's also 2 damage too off the death rattle. So even if you can get like a lot of life through the Armor Smith, there's still a lot of damage coming in next turn with the Leopard Gnome guaranteed, whatever comes out of the high main, the quick shot, and the hero power.
Is there a way he can actually play the Armor Swift and the Taskmaster and stay alive? I mean, it's looking like...
Well, this is a really nice play. It's mighty pretty, but he can't even kill off every minion, right?
Right, but does he stay alive?
I don't know. I don't think so, because the quick shot and the hero power is 5 damage plus the highness.
But still, Tiller tried really hard to stay alive there.
Yeah, that was still a really cool play. It's almost like, you know, Sho's like, that's a mighty fine play. It'd be a shame if I had the quick shot in my hand. Oh, look at that, I do.
Wow. Okay, so he, I guess Tiddler was really, really dead. But yeah, Team Liquid gets 1 point on the score as well, and shows Hunters through.
Yep. And again, being able to identify what deck it is and being able to pass off the information, very useful for Liquid. But the series is just getting started. If there's anything we've learned in Best of 11s, that plenty of room for comebacks. And that's kind of like the purpose of it, right? The Best of 11 gives the ability for some of the variants to be controlled. You can't always control all of it, but you have more opportunities to demonstrate over a lot of games. If you play as one team, you can kind of go off of that result. Because 6-3 is pretty convincing over, you know, 11 games compared to like a 3-2. Because I feel like when I watch Best of 5s, I just look at the scores and it's 3-2s all the time. I'm like, wow, that really could have gone either way.
Yeah. With the team format as well, you winning 2 games is good and all, right? I mean, obviously you want yourself to win 2 games, but sometimes that's not enough. So you kind of want to, well, at least the motivation is that you can practice with your teammates a lot and you're only as good as your worst player on the team. So you might as well all be good, you know, at this format. So that's kind of what we're trying to bring here with this new Team Conquest format.
Okay. Well, so far so good. We have 8 weeks of this, and I think the cool thing will be when we see other teams match up against others, because unfortunately most tournaments people get eliminated pretty early, and you don't really get to see a full fleshing out of stuff. But every team is guaranteed to play at least every other team once. Yeah,
pretty much. Every team has enough opportunities and chances to show off their skills, and the team that goes in 8th place, well, you can't make a lot of excuses, you get what I mean? because you did lose like a lot of games to be in that place. We're not like
Yeah.
forcing you to like play every single deck that you're not good at. You just need to like adapt around your teammates and figure out a good game plan going into this.
Yeah, you lost 48 games to get to that spot. No, 56 games.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, something like that.
42. 42. Sorry, math is really hard for me right now.
Yeah. The other day in stream, I did 6 + 5 = 13, and I actually sat there for like 2 minutes figuring out why I didn't have lethal. It's the weirdest thing ever.
Streamer life, man. Not as tough as the thug life, but pretty close.
Like counting is actually really hard. I don't think a lot of people actually get like, because I studied math in university, right? It's nothing like the sort. You have all these formulas and whatnot, everything just goes well. But when you do like basic arithmetic in a card game, it's really difficult because a lot of things can happen. And even during your turn, weird things can happen, like boom bots actually messing up your number count and whatnot, knife juggler, doing some weird stuff. So I think it's hard.
All right. Well, I'm not gonna deny you there. It can be really difficult, especially if you have a lot of numbers going through your head. But it's not difficult too much for these guys. I think they're going to be able to focus pretty well. One person that I think people will also be surprised about is Nyria from Team Liquid. I think he's a very underrated player. Most people don't really know too much about him. If you don't follow his stream or you haven't really followed some of his tournament results, they might even be surprised to hear that he's on Team Liquid because he's relatively quiet. But if you look at the ladders and you look at him, people hyped him up for a long time to be maybe the second coming of Kolento. Not to mention they have the Ukrainian connection.
Okay.
And I think he hasn't lived up to that expectation, but he's certainly carved out to be his own individual, unique person. So I hope Nyria does well.
Hearthstone does need more mellow people, I think
mellow people?
Mellow, yeah. I mean, you don't have to be like, all big and out there, I guess. So I like Nyria. Nyria is cool. I actually met him for the first time in DreamHack, and he was a really cool guy.
Yeah, he actually used to be. I don't want to like make up stuff, but I want to say that he used to fight MMA, like MMA, I think.
Oh my god!
Or maybe he was in the army. But I remember like just thinking like, oh, he's kind of a badass. Because he told me that he dropped like 20 kilos or something of weight and it was like all muscle weight, and so he's kind of thinned out a lot.
Yeah,
because he doesn't really eat much, generally speaking. He just kind of like plays games all day. But he told me he used to be like super fit and ripped because either he was. I really think it was probably he used to train to fight, but I don't remember exactly right now.
Okay, I would have never guessed though. I believe you. I believe everything you say, Ferdinand.
Actually, I think it's the military. I'm gonna go with that one.
Okay. Right. Okay. Are you sure you want to change up your story again?
Yeah, I think he used to fight. No, he was in the military. Okay. No, he's in the military.
All right, perfect. So we're just waiting for games to load here, and whoever wins the next game is gonna bring back the momentum on their team side. I think momentum is like really important, right? Last series we saw that Osaka just kept on losing game after game after game after being so close to just a match point. I think it's very stressful to be put in that spot, right? When you're the only person left on the team to advance. Yeah,
sure. But he stayed relatively calm. I think he was able to process all the goods and the bads of what happened. Druid is not exactly the strongest class, but it's for Conquest when you have so many chances. It's actually one of the best decks in terms of being able to handle the pressure of winning a game out of 6. All right, so we have Frozen Ice versus Nyria. This is Hunter versus Mage. I guess you guys didn't really have much ideas on these guys for art.
Well, for the art, I gave my artist a list of things, and he can use them if he wants, and he doesn't have to use them all, and he can come up with his own stuff. So this is what we came up with, and I think it's pretty cool. I think Frozen Ice has a very pastel-y look to his art.
Well, it's very accurate to how he actually looks. And Nyria, it kind of looks like him. I would say that type of art would belong in our animated series. It's like, okay.
Oh.
All right. Now that you tell me, maybe I can kind of see.
All right. Would you want the connection? Maybe you can like work something out afterwards.
I think we're set. I think we're set.
Okay, we're good. We're good.
We're waiting for like the next 6 months to release our second episode.
Oh wow, 6 months. We had to wait that long. Damn.
It's just an exaggeration because of
okay.
everything.
Well,
All things considered, I think if this is Freeze Mage, I think Frozen Ice has generally a pretty good time. But if it's Face Hunter, I think Face Hunter still struggles against the Freeze Mage, considering that you can't really push heavy amounts of damage in the mid game without going through Ice Barrier, versus the mid-range Hunter has like a lot of explosive power that can really push the Freeze Mage to the limits. Now, I'm not sure if it's Freeze Mage though.
Yeah. Yeah, now that we talk more about it, I just think Freeze Mage is so powerful, right? I think the most powerful decks in Hearthstone are the decks that usually do really, really well, or the decks that just kill themselves, right? We see patrons usually like just kill themselves if they don't draw a weapon, they don't draw a cycle, and Freeze Mages just kill themselves when they draw every secret. And yesterday we have a broadcast where Dog actually drew a secret off the Acolyte, and then the scientist died, and then the scientist got nothing, which was very unfortunate. So
followed by drawing his last scientist when there's no other secrets to be.
Oh man, that's even.
It was like the worst 3 sequence of plays / draws that could have happened. It was very funny.
So that's how you lose as one of those decks. I mean, it's really going far-fetched. So Freeze Mage is a very good deck to bring.
I think if you draw the correlation between these decks, maybe it doesn't exactly mean it, but the one thing that those decks have in common is that they're really good at drawing and handling almost any situation.
Okay.
And Freeze Mage is super consistent because it draws a lot. It has insane draws, actually. If you think about it, Loot Hoarders, Acolytes, Mad Scientist is a type of draw, Arcane Intellects.
Actually, you might be onto something. Yeah. All the so-called lower tier decks, they don't draw a lot, right? Like Priest doesn't draw a lot, except for just the Cleric, right? The North Shore Cleric. And I guess Temple Mage doesn't really draw much either, or at least it doesn't want to. So yeah, Shaman, yeah, exactly. That's a very good example, actually.
I'll show them.
Well, this is looking like a hybrid hunter. It's got Arcane Golem and Savannah Highmane.
Right. And good thing he has a scientist to deal with the scientist. Playing a Knife Driller into scientist definitely does not feel good at all. And I'd say that Naria is actually in a very comfortable spot. I mean, he has a secret right now. He has Draw with Acolyte and Arcane Intellect. And Frozen Ice doesn't seem like he's... Okay, well, he has an Animal Companion now. But before, he didn't actually have a lot of pressure on the board. And actually, Leok is not that much pressure at all either.
Yeah, it's very minor. Considering that you have time to draw here. Naria can set up Arcane Intellect. Also, a really nice thing, too, is that that's Ice Barrier that's already weeded out. A lot of cases, you don't really want the ice block as early on because it gives you less flexibility with your cards if you need to play them. Not to mention the ice barrier allows you to get more health, so that way you can leverage that as opposed to like, oh, I just won't die next turn. Yep,
it's just all a stall game, and I actually kind of want to see a Doomsayer last turn from Naria, just to keep Frozen Ice's tempo going from establishing too far, really. Just the momentum is a bit too powerful. And like as a Freeze Mage, you just basically want to stall the turn anyways. The later you play a Doomsayer, is the later they have more answers to it, really. Quick shots, owls, and whatnot.
Yeah, fair enough. I wouldn't have minded that.
Well, like if you played Doomsayer last turn, you could have played Acolyte, and then your next turn could be ping the Acolyte and Arcane Intellect. So you could still have filled your curve. So like at this turn, like what do you do here? You don't really want to play a Doomsayer that just dies.
What to do?
Yeah, you can also consider fireballing Leok or just playing Acolyte to draw cards. And like the thing is, he'll probably want to attack into the Acolyte somehow, and it gains life and draws a card. But generally speaking, I now that we've seen everything play out the way it has, I think you're absolutely right, Amaz. I think the Doomsayer last turn might have been better.
Yeah. I mean, I don't claim to be like a Freeze Mage expert or whatnot, but I think that was a very good Doomsayer into a Leok. It's just that it's very hard to kill a Doomsayer without, say, kill command. And if he kill commands the Doomsayer with the Leok attack, then he's not establishing anything else. Yeah.
Okay. Knife Jugger is the bigger threat. Leok just kind of sits there as additional hero power, for lack of a better comparison.
Exactly. And here, you don't want to play Arcane Golem too fast. You don't want the Freeze Mage to get more mana, obviously. Yeah. So, go. and go ahead and hit it. Oh, he's considering keeping the charge. Okay, yeah, I did like attacking more. Because, like, what if you draw another bow? You really need to use the first blow up quicker.
All right. Well, the Emperor Thorson with a hand like this, is that good at all? I mean, generally Emperor is just high value, but are these the cards you kind of want to reduce, or would you rather have other things?
I think Emperor is actually a pretty good card in this matchup because the Hunter is kind of pressured into killing it, and if they don't kill it, it activates again. So I think it's fine. Now, Naria finally plays the Doomsayer on this kind of board, right, which is perfect. Once again, it's very hard for Frozen Ice to deal with, so he can't just play Savannah Hyman and ignore this Doomsayer, and disrupts his turn really well. But what's the best way of clearing this?
Well, the most damage efficient way is to use Arcane Golem, because then it becomes a 5/2 and you kill off the Doomsayer. But I'm trying to calculate if you can do some like cute Glaive Zuka plays and remove it that way.
Yeah, but
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
Seems like it's Arcane Golem time. You give him 7 mana as opposed to 6. That makes it Flame Strike range, but nothing else really comes at 7 mana. I guess Antonidas, but the most important thing is protecting this board here.
Oh wow, playing the Unleash as well, just to put the extra creature on the board. I guess that's
well. How much damage is Unleash gonna really get normally? Not really.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It also plays better into Quick Shot when you get that card out of your hand. Oh man, the second Doomsayer comes into the hand here.
Yeah, that's really nice. With the Frost Nova that he just got, that's excellent.
Yeah, I guess you just do a Doomsayer freeze.
What to do?
Yeah, you also could just play one of your more expensive ones and try to like sequence it, because it is cheaper mana to do a Doomsayer or Frost Nova, but it's more expensive to do a Blizzard.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's true. Yeah, you do want to get out of your expensive cards first. So actually, with that line of thinking, Blizzard might be better. You can always play Doomsayer and Frost Nova.
The thing about Frost Nova Doomsayer too is it doesn't give you enough mana to do anything else. Next turn you can Frost Nova Doomsayer and play Ice Block, and then if it pops you can play Emperor Thorson. This allows you to get an immediate Thorson value next turn, assuming this Doomsayer pops. Now, would you play a high main just so you can get twos out there?
With this hand,
now you have Glaive Zukas.
I guess so. Like, what can you Glaive Zuka really? Yeah, I guess you just play.
Well, you Glaive Zuka so you can. Glaive Zuka gets you the weapon hits too. You have to do this over 4 turns.
Right, but you're not really looking for damage right now. You still need some more minion damage before you can go for face, like with kill commands and whatnot. So, and if you play Glaive Zuka, you can't really play Savannah High main. Yeah, just 6 mana, 2/2/2s. That's a shame.
That is a shame. At least for the Hunter player. For Nyria, you're like feeling
pretty happy about that. Yeah, of course. So here with 8 mana, feels like a pretty safe turn to Emperor.
Absolutely. I think this is a really good opportunity to put pressure back onto the Hunter to deal with it, and it's just gaining more life, because Emperor will no longer be on that board after this turn. And you get some pretty cheap cards that are really effective. The fact that Antonidas is cheaper is big. The fact that Ice Block is cheaper is also big. Like these type of things where you allow you to really squeeze in some plays that allow Freeze Mage to come back into this game, which looks like it's on the verge of doing.
Yeah, this is exactly what we were talking about before, where the Emperor is just too much of a threat that you have to kill it. Even with the Freezing Trap up, it's just like sitting there, reducing all the mana costs. So I think Emperor is a very good card in this matchup.
I'm actually really intrigued, because I wonder if there's going to be an opportunity for Freeze Mage just to kill Hunter by straight up damage, because he has cheap Antonidas and he's got Pyroblast in hand. So if he can keep that, like eventually he can just kill him with just damage, right?
But the thing is, like, if you Antonidas and Ice Block here, and he can't pop your block, you actually win the game with double Fireball and a Pyroblast. Then that's enough. And of course, Hunters don't run healing. Why would you run healing when you have to run more damage, right? So that might be a play if Naria thinks he doesn't die next turn. Yeah, it's pretty hard to die.
It's pretty ambitious, though. If his opponent has a kill command...
He still needs something more. Right?
Yeah, actually, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. Maybe Naria just feels like he has it. He's going to be keeping those cards for so long. It's actually a Glazuka that he can't play. But yeah, just going to go with the safe play here. Blizzard it is. And
what trap is that?
Nice. The trap is freezing trap, I guess. There you go.
Thank you,
Not too
Hearthstone.
effective. Yeah, Hearthstone helps.
Well, Hunters better start working on that health count, but the problem is leaving up some of these minions too. Wow, there's no way to deny this Acolyte from drawing 2 cards.
Not really, but I guess Naria is just looking to kill now, right? He has enough damage in his hand.
Yeah, this has definitely slowed down way too much. Hunter's not able to utilize chargers. Frozen Ice looks really stressed based off what's going on here.
Yeah, it's a hard matchup anyways, so you don't need to be too devastated when you can't really, you know, maneuver around this. It's just that Freeze Mage has so many tools to help deal with a hunter. You know, Ice Barrier just slows down everything. Frost Nova and basically Doomsayer is another Ice Barrier because they just slow it down anyways. So effectively, Freeze Mage is like at 100 health, if you may.
100 health?
Something like that, right? Every time you freeze, your minions can't attack for 6.
I want you to think about that. 100 health, Amaz.
100 health, yeah. Like, you freeze your opponent for 10 turns, and each turn is freezing for 6 damage at least, right? So that's 100, I think. Did we establish that we're bad at math?
We'll round to the nearest 100 and say you're right.
We established that we're bad at math, so I think that's perfectly justifiable.
I think we've also established that Hunter's screwed. I don't think you can really do much. You can even get away with playing Ice Block and Ice Lancing the High Main, right?
Oh, you can do whatever you want. I think Ice Block and Ice Lance would be the safest. But no, Naria just wants to go in there.
Well, Fireball puts him down to 16, and assuming he doesn't have a second freezing trap, you can lethal him next turn. Ice Block is the safest because you set up a way to not die, and then you freeze the High Main.
Right, freezing the High Main seems pretty good. And now, I guess Naria only dies to something like a Flare Kazan Mystic, something weird like that.
Kazan Mystic would be really sick. Okay. 5...
I guess you play everything.
7, 9, 11, 12 damage. 12 maximum damage this turn. Oh, and also...
Oh, he kills the Antonidas, okay.
He already has the damage to kill you. You already saw him get 2 extra fireballs.
Yeah, I guess. But then, I guess Frozen Ice doesn't know that, right? His hand might just be all utility spells. So...
Yeah, that's true.
And that also tells you that Frozen Ice is not running those Flare and Kazan Mystic cards. Nah, you might as well.
I would be really surprised if you ran Kazan Mystic in the Hybrid Hunter, but it sounds like people who struggle on ladder would do. They like take the deck. They're like, I hate losing to other hunters. You know, even though I'm playing a hunter, I'm gonna go ahead and play Kazan Mystic. It's like, no, I don't think.
The best counter to Kazan Mystic is Kazan Mystic, so that might be a thing.
Yeah, I guess so. That's a really good point. All right, so this is going to wrap up the game. Unless Lotheb comes and stalls for one more turn. Lotheb's also a possibility.
No, that's not Lotheb.
But that is really far from Lotheb. So that's going to wrap up the game, and that means Team Liquid takes 2-1 lead. And Frozen Ice loses his first game here as the hunter, and they got some pretty valuable information again. Being able to see that what kind of hunter it is, what things that they play around.
Yeah, and information is all very, very important in this Team League format.
I think making sure that Freeze Mage win its first game is also good. Just because of the easiness of countering Freeze Mage if you know it's Freeze Mage and cornering it. But generally speaking, there's very few matchups that can corner Freeze Mage the way like Druid and Control Warrior can. So, well done, Team Liquid. They're up 2-1. But we still got a long way to finish this best of 11. So, pick up your heads, all fans of Team Celestial.
Still a lot of matches to get through. And actually, there is a lot of Chinese people tuning into the stream right now and really rooting for Team Celestial. I guess this is their only representative, right? I mean, for Americas, we have so many teams from the Americas. We also have a couple of EU teams, right? I mean, I guess Liquid is kind of based in EU. Temple Storm, in a sense, kind of, right, with Gara, but mostly American, I guess.
It's a primarily American team. Gars are only European, I think.
Right. And Nihilum, of course, is also an EU-based team. So the only team that the Chinese people can root for is Team Celestial. So they got a pretty big following.
They can root for Eloise. She's also Chinese.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Playing all sides there, right, Temple Storm?
Yeah, we're all things to all people. That's that's not our intent, but that's what ended up happening.
That's good.
So I think looking at the lineups there, I'm still really intrigued by the Shaman from Silent Storm. I'm not sure what he's exactly planning. I know a few players have really picked up some interest with mid-range Shaman. Hawkeye doing well with it in DreamHack has really invigorated some people to maybe look at the class again and see if they can bring it in. And if you're bringing 6 out of 9 classes, I mean, that's almost no reason not to bring one of the underplayed classes and see if you can surprise people a little bit.
That's true.
Unfortunately for Conquest, it's a kind of format where it really punishes specialized deck building because you don't have the guarantee to actually have that deck do well. And if it loses that, you're gonna weaken your other matchups across the board. So you need to bring an overall more solid deck as opposed to like a really wonky like anti-hunter with 2 Kazan Mystics and all the heal bots that you can get.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of learned that lesson again the hard way with the Temple Mage. It's just that every deck needs to win at least once, and you really need to remember that. Bringing Shaman also says that I'm not preferring the other 3 classes. So what is this? Paladin, Priest, and what's missing? And
Paladin, Priest, and Shaman. Those are the 3.
No, Paladin, Priest, and what's missing from Celestial's lineup?
Mage?
Mage, yeah. So they basically said that, Shaman is better than Mage right now with the Shaman pick, right?
Yes, or none of us like playing Mage.
Oh, yeah, that too, I guess. Maybe there's just too many secrets floating around in the Asian scene that, I don't want to lose the Kazan Mystic all the time. So only running, for example, 1 secret class. Might pay off for them, but then maybe not.
That's like something that works both in favor and against Celestial because they have the Asian metagame to surprise people with, but they also have less to understand and adapt to compared to the West. That's why they're such an interesting team to me in this league because they legitimately might be able to bring decks that were like, whoa, that's kind of weird. The Asian scene was the first to really try to put Grand Patron Warrior on the map. With guys like Fu Oliver, they were really putting in Patron very close to the iteration that people use now. And that was like a week after release. So I think people really underestimate the Chinese region if they don't really watch much of their streams or their tournaments. In terms of the deck building, they really try to get creative. The problem with the Chinese deck building is that they're very creative, but oftentimes they're not refined and optimized. So I don't know if they're going to bring anything really unique and different here. Probably not, but I'm leaning towards them to still be the ones to surprise the rest of the people here.
Yeah, I think they're the ones to do it too. And with the creativeness, you need to kind of have a good balance. After you have a creative deck, you need to kind of refine it. So you're going to have to play a lot before jumping on, I want to play something else now. I want to find out the next big thing. So that does make sense to me.
Creativeness. Yeah, I like that. The fact that Frozen Knights is going to queue up here again with the Hunter. Oh, looks like I have to requeue here. The fact that he's going to queue up again here means that if he loses, he's going to get benched.
Oh, man. Being benched is such a big setback.
Yeah, it's a really big disadvantage considering that you can shut out those 2 classes from the selection screen and you can corner some decks.
Yeah. But also with the bench rule, what's cool is you can safely assume that the other team is not going to queue the same person twice. And with that knowledge, assumption, you can kind of eliminate some deck choices already. So sometimes queuing twice gives you an extra advantage.
Wait. Really?
Do you get what I mean?
Wait, so you're saying that if you assume teams are going to play it safe and not queue up twice, you can also
Eliminate it. So
that's
for
really like second level mind games, and the third level is anticipating that and then doing nothing, and then the fourth level is reading that and doing something.
Oh man, lots of
you get
levels.
You get what I'm saying, man?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
eventually
I get
you
it.
realize, oh, I'm just confusing myself. Screw it.
Okay, but yeah, it's always that cycle, right? But the motivation for the bench rule is for not one person to just show up in the tournament and just lose 6 games without any other player having a chance to at least play a game. So with the bench rule in place, everybody will at least play 1 game. So you don't show up and do nothing.
That sucks if you show up and do nothing. Well, we'll see if that ends up being the case. Naria is going to go ahead and queue up again, too. So we have Rogue versus Hunter. And I always get a lot of divisive opinions about this, primarily from your teammate, actually, Amaz.
Oh, who?
Every time I always talk about Hunter versus Rogue, Firebat always tells me how much he thinks Rogue is fine in this matchup. But I talk about this with other players. Everyone thinks the Hunter is really good against the Rogue. So what do you think?
You mean generally or against a certain deck?
No, against like more aggressive.
Yeah, aggressive version, right? I think aggro Hunter or face Hunter is way the favorite against the Rogue because the Rogue needs those specific cards to counter that, like Vile Teacher and Preparation and stuff like that, maybe in the Fan of Knives. And if they actually don't find them, they're they're just dead. All the aggression, all the minions that they can't remove, or they remove with the face, taking double damage from a Wolf Rider is pretty much dead. You're pretty much dead at that point. So I think it's a Hunter favorite.
Okay. Well, slow start again outside this Abusive Sergeant. It is still 2 damage if the Rogue ends up using the hero power to eliminate it. And most importantly, I think you're gonna be aiming for the coin shredder plays on turns 3 and 4, right? That's pretty much the money spot you're gonna try to find with this deck or this hand.
Yeah, pretty much. The bow is really, really strong, though. It does clear 3 3s. So if you do go with Coin Shredder, then you have to skip out on the bow, which pretty much Frozen Ice will have to, because Naria's looking like he's going to play like a Farseer next turn.
Yeah, looking like... Oh, well, he also did pick up the Arcane Golem. That is double 3 drops.
But that is the most awkward double 3 drops I've ever seen.
Yeah, giving mana to Rogue is not what you necessarily want to do. You give it opportunity to play bigger tempo swings. So I think that's definitely the right call here.
So here's the hard decision: do you bow or do you shredder? Because if you shredder, you get punished by sap too much, and if you bow, you don't establish anything.
Yeah, Violet Teacher prep sap. It is the way you're basically making the game much more difficult than you had to. And Violet Teacher off the top is excellent.
Yeah,
check that out.
The Violet Teacher is the card that you want against Hunters. So good against so many cards. Like exactly the Freezing Trap, right? If you want to Freezing Trap a 1/1, that's really, really bad. So I'm gonna try and avoid that. So I think Naria is actually ahead in this match.
Yep. The Hunter started too slow. The whole purpose of Hybrid Hunter is that you're supposed to retain the aggressiveness of the face Hunter while being able to maintain other opportunities to board control like the hybrid and push into the mid and late stages of the game. And unfortunately, he hasn't gotten that early aggression. In fact, he's really on the defensive foot here.
Yep. Just gotta clear those minions. A high main might help, but once again, you always fear the sap. 6 mana doing nothing is not really a good turn. So here, maybe a mixture of... I mean, Unleash the Hounds does clear the board, but do you like that at all?
No, I don't like it because it's too reactive. You don't get to develop much else outside of that 3 mana. You lose almost everything except the Pilot Shredder.
Yeah, I guess you can actually hit with the bow first on the Violet Teacher, use Unleash, and then hope the Glazuka can buff one of the Hounds. So you're left with 1 Hound and whatever Shredder pops out.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, because the thing with rogues is that if they have a minion on the board, they become so dangerous. But if you keep on clearing their minions, they can't like oil their minion and burst you down for a lot. And usually that's a game plan against rogues anyways, right? Warrior against rogue, you want to axe every single one of the creatures. You're not going with the freezing trap instead. Oh, it's gonna try and freeze the Drake here. This stealth guy is pretty nice actually.
Okay. Yeah, Gibbon Stalker makes it invulnerable against backstabs. SI7 agents.
Yeah, this has been the game of top decks. Like every time we mention the card, it just pops out,
Yeah.
which is
well,
good,
then
right?
what does
Because
Hunter
we
want
kind of
next?
know what we're talking about.
Well, it's like you always can talk about these hypotheticals, like this is what they might be playing around, and then when they actually draw, it's like, oh, well, it works out to be the right play or the right scenario in that case.
Yeah, because the players don't know the cards, and we kind of want to put ourselves into their positions.
You don't mind tossing back cards like Healbot and Loatheb, so you can take your time camping this freezing trap, I think, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, well, getting back an anti-Killbot, that's huge.
And there's a way to deal with this high main rather effortlessly because of the Blade Flurry spell power and the backstab spell power with SI7 agent. In fact, if this Cable and Stalker attacks face, that's a full board clear. Although the hey, yeah, it's a full board clear, and you don't even have to pop the freezing trap.
No, not really. But I think what Frozen Ice is thinking about is once again the rogue minion thing, right? He kind of wants to kill the Loatheb here. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Maybe even killing the Azuric. Oh man,
The spell power is really threatening because now Eviscerate, Fan of Knives, you know that kills off the high main.
Well, he needs to choose something fast. The rope is burning out.
The thing about either of these 5-drops getting bounced back, they can also just be replayed immediately.
Yep, okay. And it seems like that he agrees that the spell power might be a bit too dangerous here. Another heal for Naria. He is looking really, really nice here.
Yeah, perhaps Sprint gives him so many options here.
Yep, for, sap is what it's looking for,
mana.
I think. Just get the sap. No, not quite.
Well, you could play the Farce here. Get in there to squeeze it in and let it get bounced back. The high main hitting to the face. That's probably one of the least impactful high main hits to the face I've seen. And he might even consider taking out the Farce here instead, because he doesn't want that to get bounced back and keep this Loatheb frozen. Unless Naria wants to bounce it back now. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just me or you turned into the robot just now. Like, right now.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Let me rejoin. I'll be right back.
Okay. So back in Frozen Ice's turn here, just wants to establish the board more, and maybe even considering kill commanding a Loatheb just to ensure that the freezing trap does more work. He already knows that his opponent doesn't have a sap, because otherwise his Jaime wouldn't be on the board anymore. So that's exactly what he does. 6 to the face. Jaime rule, not exactly the best if your opponent still has a creature, but still pretty good. Now he just wants to look for board clear here. Immediately mousing over the Thalnos, because Thalnos Eviscerate is a clear on the high main. And probably follow up that with a backstab on the Shredder, and then Fan of Knives, whatever comes out. That is very strong play.
And assuming anything that pops out has 2 health or less, you should be able to wipe that out too. Yeah. This is probably the game-ending thing. Like, there's really not much momentum at all. He's got a Healbot and a Farce here to continue to stay above HP, and things like Arcane Golem don't have that much inherent value because SI7 agent can easily destroy it.
Yeah, it feels like
on the flip side, Vitality Totem can attack.
But I don't think that's a good thing now, is it? Is that a good thing?
I wonder.
Well, okay.
We finally get to hear what a Vitality Totem says. Have you ever heard a Vitality Totem attack, Amaz?
It probably sounds like a totem, like that, you know?
That's
you hear Spirit Totem attack all the time.
Like. Now I definitely know you've never heard it.
No, you know, it's the same sound as the Spirit Totem. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's a whooshing sound.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's what I made, right?
That sounds like it's motorboating or something like that.
Alright. Hey, I did voice acting for cards, okay?
That's right, Amaz is in the Taiwanese client?
Yeah. Someone must have liked that.
Taiwanese Hearthstone. I asked if I could do some voiceovers for the future cards of whatever comes out. No.
No?
Well, Blizzard said maybe. I'll ask, which means no.
Okay. Aw. Sorry about that.
No worries. Does it look like a pretty good Blade Flurry opportunity while setting up, Heal Bot? If that's another freezing trap that comes out, then... Oh, wait, no, is that the second freezing trap?
That is the second freezing trap, yes.
Okay, so then there's no need to try to play with the
Oh, well, he's gonna...
major damage coming out this turn.
Yeah, developing the oiled SI seems really, really smart. And here we go. He's going to be a flurry turn. Saving the deadly poison for the second flurry. That's also pretty smart. Or Naria can choose to push a little bit more damage here. Do reduce your opponent down to say what? 13, is it?
Well, you'd be doing 12 damage with this, so you put him down to 9 if you had that deadly poison. But it's 13 this way.
13 this way.
That's what you meant to say, Amon.
Right.
Oh, wait, there is another trap, though.
Oh.
Wait, I thought you said both freezing traps have been
Yeah, both
played.
freezing traps are gone. What is this one? Can we have a Mosofer on it? Maybe it's a snake trap.
So maybe a snake trap?
Oh, no,
it's a freezing trap.
Okay. Looks like we got our
Brooke
game
is a
confused.
sick hunter player. He has 3 freezing traps in his deck.
I would play
can't even
3.
do that.
I would play 3, I think.
Would he attach Glaive Zuka onto this leopard now? Nope.
Probably not.
Yeah.
And NTQ basically just seals the deal here.
Yeah, this game's been a runaway for a while because Rogue just never got put under true amount of pressure. There's just so many effective ways for Nyria to just end the game next turn.
Oh, yeah.
And Frozen Ice is going to be benched, Amaz.
It is. Yeah, he is going to be benched. So his class is going to be locked out from being picked. I was more of wondering that you became a robot again.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Antique heal bot.
And no, that's not going to do it. So I think it's game over for Frozen Ice here. He has to just wait for his teammates to free him from the prison. And Nyria's through. Nyria's good. He's going to basically 2-0 and leave it up to his teammates to get the win here. And just like that, Freezing Trap is gonna mean that he is lethal with the Blade Flurry. So good job on Team Liquid, getting a huge advantage over Team Celestial with a 3-1 lead. And we'll see what the next matchup brings. With Frozen Ice benched, Team Liquid definitely has a clear picture of what matchups are going to be. So they're definitely going to use that to their advantage.
All right, I'm back, Amaz.
All right.
Did you miss me?
Perfect. Yeah,
Sorry,
of course.
I was just gone for about a minute there. Wow, my cam got really purple. I don't know what happened.
It got really pink.
Got really, well, purple on my screen, but I guess pink on your screen.
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm having a big rave party and everyone's invited. You're invited to, Amaz, if you want to come join me.
Oh, that's good. I do like pink parties.
All right. Well, taking a look at what's remaining here, Frozen Ice is benched, which means Shaman, Warrior, and Druid are the only classes available here. And we know it is Patron Warrior, and we don't know anything else, though.
Well, I mean, if there's going to be a Patron Warrior, a Druid, and a Shaman, you pretty much want to play a Warlock, I think. It feels like, well, I guess it depends on what kind of Warlock that is, right? But if it's a Handlock,
Savitz, I think.
Oh yeah, of course, it's Zoo. So Zoo is not bad against Patron. Zoo is really good against Druid, and Zoo is really good against Shaman. So I think my prediction is going to be Savage Warlock next.
Okay. I wouldn't mind Show's Patron Warrior here either. Oh, is Show playing the Patron Warrior?
Oh, we don't know yet.
Oh, it was Tiddler. Yeah, okay. Show was playing Hunter versus Patron Warrior.
Yeah. So we don't know what Show is playing his Warrior archetype, but we do know Savage is Zoo. And just based on that information alone, I think Savage Zoo is going to crush it. There's no Hunter or Rogue to kind of counter that Zoo, and you really want that Zoo to win because you already revealed that information already.
Okay. Yeah, I can get behind that for sure. I think if Show is playing the Patron Warrior, I think I wouldn't mind bringing it out here too. At worst, you have the mirror. And if you're Celestial, what would you want to bring? What's your best chance overall?
Oh man.
If you know Savitz is bringing Zoo, maybe Tiller brings his own warrior.
I think Patron against Zoo is the best chance. I think Patron against Zoo, Patron is a favorite, but then overall, I think Zoo is a very good choice for Liquid. So, that's my prediction. So Patron versus Zoo, and boom, no, not at all. Well, we got one right. Savage is definitely gonna queue against the Zoolock, and Sandstorm gonna bring out his mysterious shaman.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm probably assuming it's maybe Mech Shaman. I'd be really surprised if he just decided to go crazy Shaman with mid range. But at the same time, that's kind of Silent Storm's style. He likes blowing people's minds to a certain extent.
Maligo Shaman.
Maligo Shaman. Yeah.
Ancestors call
why not
Maligo Shaman.
Freeze Shaman? Have you ever seen that? Freeze Shaman with Frost Shock and Frost Elementals?
Shock. Oh my god. Okay.
Have you seen that? Because one time I was watching a stream and then I think it was Raynad's stream, and I was watching it, and then his opponent coined out Mad Scientist on Shaman for turn 1.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, did I miss something?
And then
there?
it just kind of said, greetings, friend. And then you just kind of sat there with a Mad Scientist, and of course we were there blinking for like 5 seconds.
Okay.
And
maybe
he
he's
won.
playing,
He won.
Undertaker.
The free Shaman won. No, I'm not kidding you. It was basically the Mad Scientist was a troll card, but you play Ancestor's Call, Malygos. But you just play freeze cards, and you just keep freezing the board. But you have Frost Elementals.
Then what the heck was the Mad Scientist doing there?
Just to say that you lost the Freeze Shaman with Mad Scientist.
Oh, man. The pride, man.
It's Mad Scientist is a victory cigar in that deck.
Okay. Well, Savage is going to start with 2-1. Is really strong against totems. And looks like Sandstorm is going to run the... Oh, wow.
Mid-range
That is
Shaman.
not the hand I expected to see after a Zombie Chow, actually. So he's still kind of splashing into the mech variant a little bit. Yeah?
Yeah, but it's got to be mid-range. I think it's not even mech. I think that Power Mace is just solely for board control. I think he's got Alec here or Neptulon, or maybe even both.
Okay. Well, I think he definitely has Shredder, right? Definitely Shredder with the Power
Mace. He's got
Mace.
Shredder, Harvest Golems, and maybe even an Anoyotron. But I think those are the only mechs in his deck.
Okay. Makes sense.
I'd be surprised to see anything else.
Yeah, coining a Power Mace here is so strong because next turn you're going to make a Yeti. And Zombie Chow, well, I actually would have preferred the Zombie Chow hitting the Haunted Creeper here. Because actually Firebat told me this. Zombie Chow's main purpose is to get board control. Because hitting the face actually doesn't matter because of Death Rattle. So you might as just, gain board control that way.
Sure. I can get behind that.
Alright, well, it's looking like a pretty good Argus turn for Savage next turn. So Sandstorm will try and clear as much as he can. I guess the best way is to just get a Spell Power totem, but then at the same time you don't develop the Harvest Golem at all.
Yeah, the Harvest Golem, unfortunately, it's just the momentum has been stopped by this very awkward Imp Gang boss. The fact that it was going to spawn 2 1/1s if you attack it makes the board a little bit more in favor for your opponent. But you can feel pretty confident. I mean, not many people in this type of zoo are running things like, as commonly Direwolf Alpha anymore. So I think you can benefit a lot more off of having a really powerful 4/5 on the board at the moment.
Oh wow, he actually chooses to kill the Imp that spawns to make the Zombie Chow at 2 health. That's actually a pretty good play. I like it. And now in response, the Argus is going to come down. Creeper is most likely going to kill the Zombie Chow because that's a good value trade. And we're going to see what Sandstorm can do to this. The Earthshock is looking really, really nice here.
Yeah, it's kind of pick what you want to eliminate the Haunted Creepers. Or if you get a Spell Power Totem, would you eliminate the Imp Gang boss?
Well, no, right? Because 2 1/1s is a little bit more than 1.
1/1/1? Okay,
yeah,
fair
1/1/1. Oh god.
So this is looking like a pretty good opportunity for Silent Storm to potentially stabilize now. A lot of funny stuff can happen with Bane of Doom.
Yep. Is it Bane of Doom time? Oh, no. Implosion's better.
Probably not. Implosion does have synergy with Knife Juggler for 6 mana.
Okay. Well,
So
I guess Bane of Doom it is. Who's a totem?
Doomguard, is it?
Oh!
Oh, it's an
That's a
Illidan.
good card.
It's a
remember
golden
when
Illidan. Oh
Man,
my
I
goodness.
remember when it came out in DreamHack. Illidan is actually a very, very good card.
That's really funny. And now that Illidan's, taking a Hex over, if he ends up drawing one of his legitimate threats, Savitz will have it uncountered.
And there you go. That's one of the legitimate threats.
Yeah,
Can't really
it's pretty
play this
good.
turn.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, 3 is pretty good.
3 on the Implosion is average, but the most important thing is that now it's forcing your opponent to have the answer to Knife Juggler behind a taunt, which he conveniently does. Fire Elemental on the 3/2.
But then we're going to see some Sea Giant action.
There's a second Hex, though.
There is a
And
second Hex.
It's not even about that Shaman will be out of removal of Hexes, but think about the tempo that you're going to be able to gain if you have Hex and Lightning Storm next turn.
Uh-oh, this is a greedy play. This is a very greedy play.
No!
Very, very greedy.
Oh,
Oh,
he shoots
you
the
get
2-1.
punished for the greed. That's what happens when you don't play Sea Giant when you can. Oh, man. Well, I guess to Savage, it's not really that bad because Sandstorm is holding a Hex, right? But still, like you get punished a little bit. Oh, man. Yeah, I would play the Sea Giant for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think Savitz is really regretting how that ended up panning out. Now he knows if this is traced into the Knife Juggler, he wants to get the attacks in now before it gets Lightning Stormed away, potentially. But I still think you need to charge the face, get the damage in, put Shaman in a really awkward spot.
And an awkward spot he is at with this kind of hand. No, board clears. Oh, Mana Sign's not going to be good enough.
Healing
Okay.
Totem.
Not bad.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not the worst one.
But BGH is a very good draw next turn. So you definitely tap here because you can. You can play everything and then play Sea Giant as well. So you should tap here first. Well, you should. Just so you can have more options.
Yeah, generally speaking, you want to draw first in case something changes, but I don't really think anything changes.
Oh, Abusive would be nice. Yeah.
Oh yeah, true. Abusive would be better than maybe the Void Walker.
But this is fine. You just slam down everything. Sea Giant comes down as well on the field.
Sea Giant for 1 mana. Goodness gracious.
That is pretty value. So it's looking for some value trades here. Doesn't seem like he can clear everything. So he has to choose.
Is he worried about the spell power on the Drake at all?
As a shaman, not really, I guess. But at the same time, I guess you kill it, huh?
This is the Lightning Storm. He's fearing the Lightning Storm.
True.
All right. Well, this is the march back. If you're a Silent Storm, you got a big game hunter to answer, and you can load up the board with Azure Drake.
So here, you kind of want to kill the Void Walker. Because not only does it get buffed by Mal'Ganis that we see immediately, is that if you kill the Creeper, you're actually not removing any power off the board. It's still 2 attack. Owl is pretty useless.
Mal'Ganis is not as effective on this board as you might think either.
Right, but you just saw BGH, right? What's the chances of him having a second
BGH.
hex? Yeah.
But he's going to be able to remove it relatively easily. I guess it's your best play this turn, because if you tap and you get Owl into really nothing else,
Power of
then
Warming, for example.
you're basically passing.
Yeah. Yeah, Mal'Ganis is fine here. I mean, based on what Savage's current situation is, we know it's really bad. And that's a bit better, I guess.
That's much better. Realistically, though, that just might force out a second Hex from Silent Storm, so that way it doesn't get the big swing from Mal'Ganis.
Oh, that would be actually pretty detrimental if he actually uses the Hex here. This hand is pretty tame. Like, nothing big, nothing too crazy.
What about smashing the Void Caller and hexing?
Hexing whatever comes out? If
Yeah.
it ever comes out at all? Yeah, that's a good way to do it. Oh, no, just keeping it around.
Well, you can also use Crackle Hex.
Oh, just hexing this. Oh, man.
Well, that was the play I originally thought, because it allowed you to develop the board. But then you were talking about how did you deal with it afterwards, and now that he has Flame Tongue and Crackle, I think he feels comfortable.
Oh,
with
man.
it.
But the Void Walker is such a big draw right now. That is a 3-5.
Yeah, but he's got Flame Tongue Totem, right? So that should allow him to trade down well.
Oh, Alec here as well. Now, yeah, Mal'Ganis is dead for sure, right?
In fact, Mal'Ganis trades just for the Divine Shield and the Totem. This is a really good opportunity to swing the game right now. And it's so far away. 10 HP feels like 100, to borrow a term from Amaz.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was just about to say, it does feel like 100. You have no direct damage outside of, you know,
Bane of
Doom
Doom.
Guards.
Bane of Doom's your only direct
sure.
damage.
That's true, actually.
Yeah, and now you're staring at lethal.
Nah,
you
Bane
have
of
to
Doom is going to
silence.
kill the Azure Drake. Oh, a little bit too late there. Or can you still survive? No.
If you silence Alec here, you silence Alec here or the Totem?
But with Silence Alakir, you can kill the Drake.
Yeah, silence Alec here. Totem still is a lot of damage. You'd have a 5-5 and a 6-3, so that's 11. So if he rolls high on the Crackle, he loses.
Yeah, but at the same time, he's still in a bad spot. He still can't kill your opponent next turn, right? So, pretty difficult. You just throw down the abusive, right?
So many possibilities.
Yeah. The abusive and the Drake are actually comparable damage. If you kill off the abusive, you're killing off 4 damage, and if you kill off the Drake, you kill off 4 damage.
Oh, what he should have done is kill the Shredder for for Doomsayer. That's the winning play.
Oh, well, I guess the 1 in the 64 chance.
Yeah, but no, I mean, here you're just dying for sure, right? How can you muster up 10 damage in the course of like 2 cards? You just can't. So I guess that was just the best.
6. Oh, so close.
That's still fine.
Next best.
Because your opponent can't tap. Yeah, I think the best play was to kill the Shred and go for the 1 in 67 or whatever the number is.
The 1.5%.
1.5%. That's still a percentage. Like right now, this is a 0%.
Oh, now he can still, right?
Oh yeah,
The
yeah.
1.5%.
Okay, he can still do it.
Here we go.
So,
Yes, the first roll 3 or higher.
oh, that's good.
Then it has to be Doomsayer. Oh, the other troll 2 drop. Okay.
Still 0.
Or
tap.
Walker Cho.
Well, Shaman gets the win, and once again, very unexpected that Shaman is actually undefeated in this league.
Yeah, it's 2-0. 100% win rate.
100% win rate.
It's because people keep underestimating it for sure. And what's also more impressive that this is not a mech shaman. Yesterday, Kibler won with the mech shaman.
Right.
And now Silent Storm is done for the day. He won his 2 games.
He tooled. That was
He's cleaned up. He's going home. Or he is home, and he's going to go get a sandwich. Or he'll ask someone to make a sandwich for him.
Okay, I might see what you're doing there.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And Tiddler and Frozen Ice have to start pulling their weight because they've combined for 3 losses so far.
It's actually so crazy that the team captains are the ones that are dropping their games.
Well, not yesterday though, right? Yesterday the team captains were winning.
Yeah, Firebat and Life Coach just won the games immediately.
And then Ecop won his game too.
Yeah, Ecop won his game, yeah. So I don't know. It feels like this format is really cool because you see who is actually gonna breeze through, and there's always somebody who's like left behind.
Well, because not everybody can win if you're on the losing team, unfortunately. One player will end up being a struggler or ends up losing 2 or 3, maybe even 4 games if you're Kalento.
Yeah, oh man. But the series just now, it seems like Force and Boys were such in a dominating position. They were so close to getting a 6-0, but Temple Storm did manage to win, 4 games afterwards? So that was fine.
Yeah, and the team captain, Gara, ended up winning his games too. So
that's true.
Team captains are coming through. Not in this series, though. Savitz and Tiddler they need to pick it up. They're slacking a little bit. Scrubbing it up.
Still waiting for their moment. Okay, not slacking. It's just waiting for their moment. And we'll see what the next game brings. But once again, guys, it's over a couple of weeks. At the end of all the weeks, we're gonna see who does the best.
Couple of weeks.
Sorry.
A couple of weeks. You're giving the impression that we'll be done by the end of July. Guys, we're going to September.
It'll go by really fast. I mean,
Yeah,
it's July already, right? It just
we're
feels like
going all the way
yesterday
to
was
September.
January. Wait,
We're
what?
ready. We actually were close to calling this the Fall Classic. That's how deep we're going into the season, man.
Well, yeah, very close, very close. But I don't think we explained the advantage yet. The first placement for this round robin phase actually gets to pick who they play against in the live finale. So it's actually quite important to place as high as you can. Like every place kind of matters. Sure, 4th and 5th are kind of the same, and 6th and 7th kind of same. But it gives more incentive for players and teams to do well over the whole course of the league.
Yep, that's right. There really aren't many losers until the very last week, and then all of a sudden there's a lot of losers. And then we have the top 4, and then we finally get one really rich team, one kind of rich team, and then the rest, wallow in their sorrows for not being able to win the mess. There's a lot of money on the line, man. $250,000 prize pool, and I believe 100 to the winner. So this is a lot of money that's going to be distributed. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. In the meantime, these teams, the team captains are going to face off.
Oh man,
Druid versus Druid.
Oh man, the classic matchup of who draws Wild Growth and Innervate as well. And like you said previously in the previous series, I of course used previously twice there. Whoever draws Innervate, I think as well, is the favorite. Because you just want to establish the first minion. And the person who does that is always ahead. Because Druids usually play 1 minion a turn or remove 1 minion per turn. Yeah. They can't do both at the same time. The only card that does that is Keeper of the Grove.
There is another way to differentiate players. I know some people they facetiously say like whoever draws the better cards is the better player.
Right.
But there are some scenarios where you can see the better Druid players really push the window of when to be aggressive versus when to go for the trades and be defensive. And
sure,
I think a lot of mid-tier players who don't maximize their win percentages overtrade, and they can't read the situation as clearly as some of the best players. That's the small differences that end up giving them the win sometimes, which ultimately make the biggest difference.
Yeah, okay, I agree with that because there are a couple of situations where do I reveal the shade or do I don't, right? Do I go for the face or do I go for the value trade? Yeah, that definitely makes sense. But I guess it's more apparent when both Druids have Wild Growth or Innervate, or both Druids do not have those cards. Those are the exciting games, in my opinion, because sometimes those cards just really give you such a huge advantage that sometimes a mistake or two would not cost you the game. But yeah, you do want to win those 20% of the games where both Druids do not draw anything, right?
Is it 20%?
I mean, okay. I'm just throwing a random number out there.
Gotcha. The game that happens every so often. Is this one of those games?
Yeah, I think we see a Wild Growth into double 5 drops. We see a
Wild Growth, but we see nothing on Tiddler's side.
Well, not yet, at least. Savage just this hand is amazing. You got double 5 drops next 2 turns, and Tiddler just hero powered at turn 2, so we know that Tiddler does not have a Wild Growth.
But does he have an Innervate?
Nope, he has a Shade.
No.
Shade is good too.
Yeah. Shade is still something because now you're taking initiative onto the board, even though it does kind of stink that you're not able to take the mana tempo back in your favor.
Right.
And I think the worst case scenario too is when your opponent's going first and he gets a Wild Growth off and you can't really punish with a follow-up play because then he's 2 mana ahead. And it's like when you're playing Ancient of Lore and you're like deciding if you should play Azure Drake. It's like, I'm not sure of what I'm going to be able to do here in that scenario. So I really like that Tiddler's at least still able to play a 3-drop because it keeps him competitive in this game.
That's true. So right now we don't really see Tiddler's cards because he forgot to invite us. So hopefully he'll get right on that.
It was bad, man.
Yeah, it was bad, man. So yeah, once again, Druids can only usually remove 1 creature or develop 1 creature. And Tiddler actually used 2 cards to kill 1 card. So Savage is looking really pretty here.
Yeah, what do you think about that using Swipe? Maybe his hand has developed to the point where he can't afford to play Swipe any other turns from now. So he needs to Swipe now so his curve can be respected and he can deal with that Druid Claw. That's my
You could say that, and you could also say that he does have a shredder. Like the only thing he has in his hand is just a swipe for 4.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you could also, yeah. I mean, that's what ultimately you can say about it because swipe in this matchup is not very powerful outside of just drakes and shredders themselves. I actually would rather keep Wrath sometimes if I had to choose between, even though they're comparable damage, because the swipe is really clunky versus the Wrath is more versatile. Although it does help you draw cards sometimes too. So, taking a look at this hand too, you want to kill off that Lotheb, and you can develop the Shredder, and that's still pretty effective here. What's the hesitation on Savita's end, you think?
Actually, I think well, what I would do in this situation is I would think whether to go face with the Adric or not. I'm not really crazy about the Belcher. It just dies for free for the Lotheb. But I would have played Shredder and considered just attacking face with the Adric. Because, like, Tiddler is probably going to remove the spell power off your board anyways. So...
Oh, yeah. That's also a pretty good consideration. He already just used Swipe, too.
Yeah. Wow. So Vijay's play is going to actually give him some profit here because he has a spell power swipe now. So that play he just made paid off really, really well.
And he's got a 3-drop, too, to follow up on it. I mean, Tiddler gained back some of that mana he lost through the Wild Growth, but is he able to stabilize enough? Because this is a lot of damage coming his way, and there's a Savage Roar waiting on the other end.
Yeah, it's looking pretty difficult. But man, Vijay's turn was actually pretty cool. The Belcher actually set up the Lotheb to die to the swipe, and Tiddler played exactly Emperor for 5 health.
Yeah, so that was a really good way to play a little off curve so you can punish your opponent the following turn. I like that.
Yeah, that was really good.
Ended up working out really well.
Tiddler's he's basically struggling to gain back the board here. And, well...
So, there's the Ragnaros play, or there's a double Shredder play. Or, is there a Savage Roar play you can do, too? Maybe.
I don't like Savage Roar here, do it. Not really.
It gives you the Shredder opportunity.
It does save the Shade from dying. That's plus. You could also just double Shredder and just pass, right?
Yeah. I don't mind the double Shredder play either. It's really sticky. Your opponent can't deal with it. He's already used the Keeper of the Grove. You have Savage Roar, so the more minions you stick, give you a higher chance to draw Force of Nature for the lethal.
True. Or the second Savage Roar even.
The second Savage Roar even as well.
Right, so double Shredder it is.
Okay.
Back over Tiddler, we can only guess his cards. Judging the way he played, it should be pretty clunky, right?
Well,
before.
I don't think he has an Ancient of Lore. I think he would have developed it last turn, considering that he had the Emperor go off. He would have made cards a lot cheaper. He needs to prioritize keeping the body count low, though, because he knows his opponent will have 9 mana. So if he can try to keep as many bodies off, then he'll get the least damage possible.
Sure. That's probably a Raft that was pointed just now. I really can't imagine that being any other card.
Second Keeper, maybe.
Second Keeper? Maybe, actually. But nah, Raft seems more obvious. Ooh, another Druid Claw.
Oh, man. Druid versus Druid in a nutshell. Always to the face.
That is aggressive. Okay. And
that's lethal.
That's a million damage. Right?
Yeah, we ran into the nearest million. It's a million damage. I'd like to see the Shredders being popped, by the way. Per Druid of the Claw. That'd be awesome. Just to see what comes out. No, Tiddler doesn't give him the satisfaction.
So this is one of the games where it's kind of decided by the Wild Growth, right? Which happens. Sometimes you're just gonna shrug it off. I mean, even in poker, sometimes, the lucky ones, you just let your opponents win, or you just win yourselves. But it's the ones that, once again, if both players get really lucky with their ramp cards, or if both players get really unlucky with no cards, that's where the matches get exciting. And this is just a textbook example of a Druid kind of drawing better than the other person.
Okay, well, I still think that there's some cool moves made by Savitz very subtly that ended up helping him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that Belcher
so-
was a very good play. So yeah, I agree.
So
with that.
it's not an obvious play. It's not a play that you can say most people would make. They would probably try to favor the easy one, but ends up panning out well, and he ends up getting a really important win on the board here because now it's 4-2, and more importantly, one of those cases where you force Team Celestial into an awkward spot. If Tiddler queues up again and loses, then he's benched, and he had to go back to Frozen Ice. And then you can corner his deck as well. So, one of these things of, Team Liquid's in a really good spot, and I'm really feeling like they're in a good spot here to close out. I like their classes here remaining. It's not even poor classes. Sometimes you're like, well, I have Paladin remaining if I'm Nihilum. It's like, I have to really hope this Paladin deck can win.
Right.
It's like, well, I have Warlock and Warrior, two of the best classes to bring in a format.
But what is Show's Warrior? Do we know yet? Or he hasn't shown it yet, right?
He's been practicing a lot of Patron Warrior. There's been posts of Show struggling with Patron Warrior, missing lethals because they're really tricky to find, and he's been practicing it pretty hard. Maybe that disincentivizes him from being able to play it confidently in a tournament. He might bring Control Warrior just for stability and comfort. But at the same time, Patron Warrior is just so explosive, especially against this type of lineup where it's great against Druid. Well, maybe not great. It's like better against Druid, and it's not so bad against the other classes here either.
Yeah, as long as it's Patron Warrior, then Tiddler's Druid is going to really struggle to find a win. The rest of the decks, I think, are pretty good. But it feels like the Druid, once again, is kind of bullied into not winning a game, right? It's always the Druid that's been last to advance in most of the series from this week.
Just from this series and the previous series. Yesterday's series, the Druids actually did fine.
It was Patron that was actually struggling.
Yeah,
yesterday.
Patron was the struggle. It was on the struggle bus last.
The struggle bus.
It was It was just really. It was going uphill. It just couldn't get over the top, and needed a little extra push there. And it ended up getting the wins, but Patron Warrior had a very poor win rate, same as Paladin. But today it's different, and I'm looking forward to see which infographic will pop out to see like the win percentages and the clash choices and the different tech cards. Are deck lists posted at all, by the way, Amon?
Deck list will be posted in teamarchon.com after every week, of course. Just so basically right after this series, you guys can see all the deck lists, and of course we will put some featured deck lists up and analyze them a little bit more in the deck list section. So you guys can play these decks if you want. No priest though. If you want to find a good priest list, then you might have to find somewhere else.
Gotcha. All right. Well, looks like we're getting ready for our next match there. Hopefully we can get the Tiddler POV next time, or whatever player we have from Team Celestial. I guess he was just in the zone.
Yeah, when you're so focused, you forget about everything. And of course, they are in busy mode, so the only way we can contact them is through Skype. Just send them a Skype message and whatnot. So.
Should have sent them the personalized cell phones, Amaz.
Oh, sorry, personalized cell phones. What I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
by
exactly.
Pigeon, by the carrier pigeons.
By bird. Actually, that's how we communicate. We live in Hogwarts.
Oh man.
Well, 6-0 does. Did you see his art? He looks like he actually does belong to like Hufflepuff or something like that.
Hufflepuff.
I can imagine. No, let's be real. 6-0's a Slytherin.
Oh wow. Okay. I can see that.
And everyone who knows him would agree.
It's a sinister looking face, right?
It is.
It
like,
is.
No,
Oh,
he's very, he's also quite pale. He's got like that,
Okay, I see.
That malevolent stare. I got you. And he plays Face Hunter and Zoo all day on ladder. Come on. That's Slytherin in a book. Come on.
I actually think Face Hunter is very respectable in the tournament. Cause like players are all good, so they can play against like Face Hunter really well. And sometimes you always have to eke out those last bits of damage. So actually I respect Face Hunter.
Okay. You're entitled to your
maybe it's just me.
I don't disrespect Face Hunter. I think the deck is trickier in a tournament setting than you think. But in ladder settings, yeah, I let the disrespect flow. But it's primarily my own salt. I get really salty when I lose.
Everybody gets a little bit salty. It's the degree.
Warrior versus Warrior, by the way, coming out here. We're gonna see the show Warrior finally out. Is it the Control Warrior? we've seen one Control Warrior earlier today, where Hyped was bringing it, but unfortunately it was a very quick game. It was a one-sided aggro Paladin versus Control Warrior. Didn't really do much.
And we know the Tiddlers bring the Patron Warrior. What do you think if that show is running Control Warrior and Tiddler's running Patron?
I think the Control Warrior generally is favored, but it's not impossible. Some people would say like, oh, Control Warrior wins like 90-10 or something. I remember someone tossed out some random
90-10
like that. And I was like talking to the Rad at ESL, and he was like explaining to me a lot about the nuances of that matchup. And when he described it the way, I agree. I think a lot of people don't play that matchup correctly because they don't see it very often, either on ladder or they don't really practice it much. So if it is Control Warrior versus Patron, I would give the nod to Show. But I would definitely say that Tiddler is still competitive, especially considering that he's put some of the most time in out of anybody playing Patron Warrior.
Okay, that's a fair analysis. And of course, we want you guys to tweet out #ATLC if, just give what you think about the Warrior matchups, what you think about the whole tournament, some feedback you have. Keep communicating to us, and we'll improve basically every broadcast.
All right. Well, it looks like the players might have actually started, and we're just trying to get the spectate mode in the way. In the meantime, we can imagine our own Warrior versus Warrior game. So this is what's going to happen. Okay. I'm going to turn to Armor Up. What are you going to do, Amaz? You can play us.
Okay, I will turn to. I'll play a Loot Hoarder.
Okay. Well, you played right into my hands. I turned 3 cool Taskmaster, your Loot Hoarder.
Oh, okay. Well.
Followed up by.
I think you got me there. Oh, gosh damn it. Yeah. Oh, you're a good player, Frodan.
Thank you. Thank you. I drew that off the top of my deck, by the way.
Oh, you don't have to say it. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Man, top decking your opponent. Yeah. Sometimes I think top decking is kind of, what's that word called? Over exaggerated, I think. Does that make sense?
Yeah, something like that.
Like for example, oh my god, he top decked the BGH, right? I mean, but then he could have had BGH in the hand anyways, right? But we never like.
Right. It's the flashy thing to focus on. It's like, well, he didn't have it. Yeah, and he just happened to draw it.
Yeah.
When he could have had it from the first place, you're absolutely right. People it's because it's more dramatic to feel like, it wasn't the heart of the cards. If you ever watch Yu-Gi-Oh, it's like I need that card precisely off the top of my deck. The power of friendship.
Yeah.
Willpower.
Wow, we have to weave it there, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I feel like every day I stream, I feel like I top deck at least like 5 times. I don't know. It just happens a lot. Like it just. How the game is kind of like, I think it's normal. I don't think it's like lucky or anything. It's just if it's in your deck.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like when you have a BGH in your deck, you're gonna draw it sometime. So like draw it when they play a giant. Like why draw it like earlier? I don't know.
I feel like you wouldn't necessarily pass the LSATs with that logic, but I can follow you. I can follow you on that.
No, it's the intuition.
You had me up until I don't think it's lucky. It's like
no, it's the intuition, right? Like,
Okay, well here's the thing that I can follow up and help support you.
Okay.
One thing that is for sure is that everyone also says, look, it's kind of unlucky he drew this. And it's like, well, he put that in the deck for a reason. And
okay, sure.
Some people overemphasize like how some people might get unlucky with how the draws end up panning out, but it's like, oh, he's playing unlucky as a ramp druid, but it's like, oh, but he put like 15 taunts that are 6 mana or higher. It's like, of course.
Oh yeah. The converse is true.
Yeah. So I think people overemphasize that.
Yeah. Especially with the earlier games of Hearthstone, casters are always going like, oh, he got a curve again. He got perfect curve. Of course he got perfect curve. He's playing Zoo. Like they run 8 1-drops back then, right? Of course he's gonna get
a designed to do the curve.
Exactly. So I don't know. I think people just need to wrap their head around.
Did exactly what he wanted. No.
Yeah. Anyways, we have armor up here.
But I like Show's hand. I like Show's hand a lot. He's got Inner Rage on the Grim Patron with the Death Spite. And it's not necessarily about the card draw in the mirror match at all. It's a lot about who can grab the early board and control it and never let go.
Yeah. It feels like it's really hard to come back from a board full of patrons because that deck doesn't run any board clears. The only board clear is patron, and unfortunately patrons do not clear patrons.
Yes. Moreover, that some cards are just really funny because they're so good in your matchups for other decks, and then they're just liabilities elsewhere. Like Armorsmith, for example. It's one of the key cards to stay alive versus aggro. But in this matchup, it's just, no, you don't want to see Armorsmith for a really long time.
Yeah, I don't think Armorsmith is the best example. It's just such a good card. I think a better example would be.
Yeah, you like Armorsmith all the time?
Yeah, oh man, if Priest had Armorsmith, I would play Priest immediately. Priest really needs one of those cards that does that thing. Cause like, remember when you and Rekful talked about Armorsmith and AOE's, right?
Yeah.
Like if
Okay,
you
so the
AOE a board of
comebacks.
Armorsmith, it still does something. It has a death rattle basically. Is that-
Okay.
yeah, and no 2-drops have death rattles that are like a 1/4.
Okay, all right. When you see it like that, Amaz, you know, again, not necessarily passing the LSATs, but I can definitely follow your line of play there.
All
I
right.
got you.
Thanks, Frodan. You're like supporting me, but then stabbing me is like not really, you know.
All right. Well, this Grim Patron is going to clone itself 4 times over. You know, maybe we should fork that over to scientists trying to figure out the same. As we'll have 4 of them, and you only can deal with 2.
It seems like 2. Well, realistically, only. Oh, that's a good card. But realistically, you only need to deal with 3, right? Because the 5-1 is kind of like whatever. It's gonna die anyways.
Well, the 5-1 was challenging the Thorson, so that was important for sure.
Oh yeah, that's
yeah.
true. But yeah, you don't want them to propagate, basically. Oh, it's just gonna stop right there. No more patience, at least, in this hand right now.
Yeah, it's okay. He's got a second patron, and now he can play his own Thorson, control the board, and would you attack the face with the other patron at all? Like, cause
Whoa.
the 3 damage would also allow him to get battle rage value, and I know it might be like, well, you don't want to miss damage.
Oh, okay,
but-
okay. You mean but are you trading the Emperor? I think I'm just trading the Emperor, right?
Yeah.
Oh, not at all. Show once blood.
Now that's a creative play. I'm very curious by that.
I don't think chat agrees that it's a creative play to smork your opponent's face.
No, to ignore a minion that usually has super taunt. Like that
Super taunt.
Thorson doesn't just have like implied taunt. It's got super taunt on it usually.
Man,
like highest priority elimination. For some reason, when certain cards
Okay.
hit the board, Amaz, there's this weird psychological impact that happens beyond the game. For example, Northshire Clerics, Manatide Totems, right?
Okay,
got
I get it. I get it. I just
And
like how you use the term implied. What's that called? Super taunt or something?
Yeah,
That was-
it's
that was-
like I have to kill this with every fiber of my being. Like I will go through hell and back in order to make sure that this Northshire Cleric dies. Like there's some weird reactions that people have to that card.
Yeah, but is this justifiable? Because here, Sho got punished for not clearing it.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm saying traditionally this is what happens, but in this case, Sho ignored the super taunt and went face.
Oh man, you don't
He
want
might
to
be
ignore
paying
it.
the ultimate price.
Don't ignore the super taunts. This is the lesson we learned today. Oh, that's pretty good. That's a board clear.
He already had a war song though that was reduced.
Oh, actually, oh damn. Oh yeah. I see.
Yeah,
Oh, so excited. Okay, never mind. Oh.
but now he can squeeze in an Armorsmith.
It seems like he wants to hold on to it just so that the reverse patron would not be that deadly, maybe. But yeah, once again here, the Armorsmith is the liability, like you said.
Yes. And Sho, well, I guess maybe he was feeling really confident for this very reason. If you think about it, there's only a few cards anyways in Tiller's hand. So the second patron effect wasn't nearly as impactful as the first one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe he would have went face again with the game patron, but he thought otherwise and just cleared it off.
I've learned my lesson.
All right. Well, Tiller is forced to use the Grommash here just because there's really not much else to do. And is this really gonna go face? Oh,
And you just-
oh no.
Oh, okay. We got faked out. We got faked out by spectator client. This happens pretty often. Leaves the Warsong Commander.
Well, I guess both patrons are out already, so
Yeah.
there's not really that much scary stuff.
The Frothing Berserker, though, is definitely still scary stuff.
Oh man, the
Great.
top deck execute. Okay, I guess top decks are pretty exciting. I take it back.
Yeah, it is pretty flashy. It's like, oh, we needed precisely that card. I think realistically he still could have killed that Grommash. It just would have costed 4 cards.
Yeah, let's not do that. Let's not trade 4 cards into 1 card.
Yeah.
Slime is a decent start, I guess.
Yeah, this might be another big moment too. Show us Harrison Jones. Oh wait, never mind. He's got a second Death Bite. But the Harrison Jones is still really impactful into drawing a card. Every draw is just another way you can get closer to potentially having your win condition again. Because I think now that Show is out of his Grim Patrons, he's going to have to rely on Frothing Berserkers. And his opponent's at, 17 health. It's not exactly the most.
Yeah. Well, it's still a respectable amount of health, right? Usually after 2 patron cycles, your opponent's down at like 5 or 6, and you just finish with Grommash or something.
True story. True story. But this is looking like a Show will be keeping his opponent on a defensive foot if he draws another minion, because he's now at 12 health.
That Harrison really put a dent into Tiddler's plans here, and Show's looking a little to close the game, possibly with a no frothing.
Slam though, it's all right. It's more than all right. It's pretty good. Ooh.
Oh, more draw, of course. That's exactly what we wanted.
Rage Reno.
And there you go.
Frothing Berserkers. Now that... How about this? Would you consider keeping that Frothing Berserker on the board so that way you can get a bigger Frothing on your side to kill? You laugh, but I'm saying that it could be an extra 2 to 3 damage. Plus you can hit face this turn. Plus you can hit face this turn.
Okay. Well, I guess we know what you like to play a lot.
Yeah, I've played Amaz, I've played a lot of Patron Warrior in my time too.
Okay.
Where I've been in situations where I'm short 1 or 2 damage, and it's because I didn't leave a minion on board sometimes.
Okay.
You're at 32 health. You're at 32 health. He can't kill you.
I agree with your play too, but I mean, Frothing is obviously one of those minions where you have to clear, right? It's the Northshire Cleric over there.
It's true.
So I don't really fault Show for clearing.
Well, hey, look, he also got an Armor Smith, so he would have gained a lot of life. That probably was not the right play in retrospect.
Well, is there a Battle Rage possibly? No. Oh man,
just an execute.
Wow, with double ghoul, is this lethal?
The problem is he can't pop those ghouls.
Just
2 Frothing Berserkers. That's 8.
Oh, is that good? 6,
4,
6, 12 plus 5. Well, 12 plus 5. Yeah, 12 plus 5.
Where do you get the 5 from?
Oh, no, you can't whirlwind because you're missing a mana. Oh, never mind. I have 11 mana in my... Oh, no, you have Armor Smith.
You have Armor Smith. Yeah. That can also get you another 2 damage.
Yeah, you play Warsong, Frothing,
but he also gains life. He gains life from Armor Smith.
Life.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay, this is,
I don't know. Maybe there's a lethal here that we can't find fast enough. 2, 4... And then Whirlwind's 5 times 10, 14.
5 plus 10, right?
Yeah, 14, 16. Oh, if he executes Armor Smith, does that change it?
You're removing 1 minion from the board, so it's not quite it.
Right. Okay, so you reduce it by 4 damage by doing that. All right. Well, it doesn't look like he has it. I'm waiting for the post that might show us the way, though. So feel free to laugh at us.
I don't think there is. Come on, we have to be confident, Frodan. Alright? You changed your hair color to be confident, right?
No, I changed my hair color to impress a girl, but it didn't really work.
Oh, okay.
You don't need to know that, though.
But now we all do.
And now they can't undo it. This is also really dangerous because now that he's put 2 more patrons on the field, there's a lot of potential for the Frothings to do crazy.
Oh wow! Yeah, it's a reverse.
No, he's gonna copy this patron.
Oh no! Of course you want to copy the patron.
Oh yeah, but I mean in the sense that.
But you want a cool Taskmaster the Ghoul to copy more patrons, right?
You can execute the Ghoul to copy the patrons. He doesn't have to toss out.
Oh, now this is a good copy. Let's do that. And then he's gonna get killed. No.
Oh man.
So bad.
So what normally should look like a board swing, because by all means, this is actually a great play, assuming your opponent doesn't have exactly those 4 out of 5 cards. A frothing,
punished.
2 frothings with Horror Song and a Whirlwind.
So you get punished for playing. Oh, no! Oh no! This is so
He's not even counting. He's not even counting. He knows. He knows.
Oh no!
There's no way.
That's
Oh, that is a million damage. This is a million damage.
That's 12 damage per Whirlwind.
Oh.
Tiddler is super bummed.
Oh.
Wait, no. It's more damage because you kill off.
Yeah,
kill
exactly.
off these things. Yeah.
Oh, this is just sad. All right, we can I'll take a cup of tea, and then when we come back, the animation should be about done.
That's right. I'm gonna take a quick water sip. That was just one Whirlwind animation? Oh my god. So I think if we can go ahead and just think about the key moments of this game, it has to be that Sho was able to draw and control the board a little bit better.
Yep.
And ultimately he had those small little things that helped give him gas. You know, the Harrison allowed him to draw that second Whirlwind and all that other stuff. So really well done.
Oh man, one frothy was not enough to kill. It had to be 2.
Yeah, it was 2 frothings. 2 frothings.
But remember that cast where the 2 casters did the water pass? Wait, you have your water here, right? Okay, let's do a cheers.
I do.
Okay. Ready? Cheers.
We'll pour one for the.
Oh shoot! Wrong direction. Okay. What are you doing? No, wait, the cheers.
Didn't you say? Oh, okay.
No, just cheers. Okay, I'm in the right direction.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. Cheers.
Okay, there you go. See, that was really good.
Good query. Oh, now we drink. All right. Now I spilled it all over myself. Well, rest in peace, Tiddler, because you're benched.
Oh
And
man,
now Frozen
Tiddler
Ice
is
has to come out.
officially benched, so it's gonna be Frozen Ice versus Savage, and Savage is gonna use a Zoo Lock. And looking at this, Rogue is okay against Zoo, and Hunter's okay against Zoo, so it's not that bad that Tiddler's benched. But sooner or later, Tiddler needs to win a game versus Savage's Zoo.
Eventually.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah, the big question mark is the Druid. Can the Druid win against the Warlock? The other classes, they certainly can win against Warlock, though.
But the thing is, like, Zoo can always do Zoo stuff, right? They can always just get a win out of nowhere. So not only does Celestial need to beat it 3 times normally, they need to beat it 1 extra time with the bad matchup. And that's just going to be very difficult.
Yeah, for sure. I agree, and I'm looking forward to see if Tiddler, Celestial, and crew can go ahead and swing this the opposite way. It's going to be really cool to see a team finally make one epic comeback eventually. It's going to happen one day, Amaz, where one player is up 5-0 on behalf of his team and then loses 6 straight. That would be sick.
Okay, you think that's going to come first, or do you think someone's going to go 0-6 first, where the whole team just loses?
Oh, well, 0-6 first, just because that's statistically more likely. But I think both would be really fun to see, because then you get to see like one team get the memes made out of, right? I was really thinking that we were gonna call them Temp 06 Storm, but then they started winning games, and I was like, okay,
oh yeah,
well, that's less fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you become like this weird, fun, community thing where they can be like, "Aha, these guys never win. You lost to the team that you gave them their first win because they're like 0-6 in the league, and then you give them their first win type thing."
Yeah.
So
storylines is definitely what a team league can make, I guess. But
yeah, absolutely.
I think every team did a pretty good showing in the first week. Nobody went particularly bad or particularly good, right? Everybody went okay. So yeah, these teams are actually practicing, I believe, and actually trying to feel out the format a bit. Maybe in the first week they just went, okay, let's just bring 6 decks and see whatever happens, right? But I think the teamwork dynamic is gonna start coming in the later weeks.
Okay, fair enough. Makes sense. So I'm predicting a Rogue coming out here from Frozen Ice. I think Rogue is not only the class that Frozen Ice is most familiar with. He famously hit #1 in Asia multiple seasons in a row with Miracle Rogue. I think it was like 3 seasons in a row he hit #1, and I think he finished #1 one of those seasons. So I think it's his most comfortable class, and I think it's also the best chance against the Zoo, generally speaking.
Right.
I know a lot of people really like Hunter versus Zoo, but I feel like Rogue has a better chance here. I am.
Yeah, and of course tiebreakers do count, right? And the tiebreakers are determined on how many games you win overall throughout the round robin. So why not just, make the best out of it and win some games? And of course it also builds up some momentum and some spirit for the team to go like, we're not over this. This is not over yet, we still have a chance.
Okay. And you do want to get like you said, win as many games as possible. Tiebreakers is very real. How do the tiebreakers even work? If you're saying like if they're tied for 7th and 8th place, right, or 4th and 3rd, 5th and 6th.
Yeah. We can bring up the bracket thing again with the standings page, and then we can see that going 1st and 3rd is actually quite beneficial. Obviously, you want 2nd, right? You're gonna want to go like shoot for 3rd because first 2 teams go to the night finale immediately. And of course, the 3rd place winner will get to pick the bracket, so who they want to face against for phase 2, which will create some interesting storyline as well, right? So, for example, you're 3rd, and then you go like, I want to choose what I think is the worst team to face against. That can create some hype as well.
See, everyone's gonna say they chose the team they think they match up the best against, but they really mean the worst. So, yeah, you're right, Amaz. I actually didn't realize how relevant tiebreakers are. There's 3 breaking points between 2nd, 3rd, 5, 6, and 7, 8.
Yeah. There are quite a few. I mean,
there's a lot because there's 4 divisions effectively. There's the scrubs in number 8. There's the just kidding. There's the people who tried but failed, and then there's the people who like did not so well but they can redeem themselves, and the 6 and 7. Okay. And then you have like the people who can still play reasonably well, and unfortunately things didn't go their way. And then you have the people who are, quote, always lucky in 1st and 2nd. But I think this is really starting to shape up pretty well. I really like the team dynamic here. And I think what's cool is that there is a little flexibility with how things pan out. Because I know people are always wondering, like, well, if it's 8 weeks and some of the teams are traveling for big events, will they always be able to play? And these teams are really making it priority to make sure that this team league happens.
Oh yeah, I do hope that $250,000 is incentive enough for people to make their games.
Amaz. And then I go ahead and watch some of the other streams, like the cash game yesterday, and someone lost like $250,000 in like 5 minutes.
Oh yeah.
And all they do is just sigh, and I'm like, what? That's all you do? It's like that's our entire year's prize pool at our World Championships, and you just threw it away in 5 minutes. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, at that level, it's basically monopoly money, right? So
yeah, it's not real.
It's the perspective. I mean, not perspective, but what's that word called? The reference. What's that word?
Reference context.
Yes, context.
Is that what
very
you're thinking?
smart, Frodan. Oh man,
thank you.
Good job.
I guess the first word that came to my head.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm
that
glad
was
you're
great.
very impressed.
Very nice. All right, so Zoo versus Hunter. Here we go. Frozen Nice is using the the hybrid-ish Hunter that we've seen before.
That's right.
That didn't really advance.
Hybrid Hunter struggles against Zoo, doesn't it? Because it's like it doesn't have the ability to seize the board back as easily, and it doesn't. Or I don't know. Actually, I'm not sure.
I guess. Wait, is Face Hunter good against Zoo, in your opinion?
I think so, because I think it can outpace it and do too much damage for Zoo to for their board control to matter. Because Zoo will eventually wrestle away board control from Face Hunter, but it won't do it in time for it to matter. Usually.
Okay, so based on what you said there, I think that Face Hunter, Hybrid Hunter has an edge over Zoo. But here, it's actually going to be a little bit of problematic because the freezing trap is going to be up. Well, thankfully, there's an Unleash the Hounds to clear off this board really nicely.
Yeah, and you can leave the Flame Imp.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, do you really bounce back a Flame Imp?
No, you just taunt it up, I guess, over the next couple turns.
Yeah, I mean, if you do bounce back the Flame Imp, you're giving your opponent 1.5 free hero powers. That seems pretty bad.
It's a really interesting way to think about it. Assuming you're playing it ever again. You might just toss it away if you have Doom Guard, but in this scenario, I'm 100% behind you. In this case, Flame Imp just sats as a mini taunt. Now, one thing that you could do is try to bounce back some of these other useful cards, like Defender of Argus.
That's a good plan, but doesn't look like it's that good for Savage right now because Frozen Ice is gonna develop another minion. Oh my god, and it's a final high main. It's gonna
Right.
drop down soon. All right, so
Yeah,
what
that-
exactly do you play here?
Well, knowing that the freezing trap's up there and you can't really stop it from not sucking, right? I mean, yeah, there's really nothing you can do. I think you just play the biggest minion available to you.
And that's Lothab.
Yeah.
If you play the Wolf Rider, you could be able to clear off the haunted spiders, the spectral spiders that come out,
Yeah.
and then the Argus is still gonna get freezing. Well,
Argus being 6 mana is still really clunky. So
yeah.
it's not exactly like the worst thing. It's just that that's really good if Zoo needs to, like, if they lock down a solid board with Void Callers and you don't have a way to get past it, and then, you know, also their stuff happens where Mal'Ganis or Doomguards come out. Argus is really powerful there. But I think this is still okay for the Hunter.
Yeah, okay. Well, Voidwalker is definitely not a good card here. It is a freezing. There you go.
Is it?
And
Is it better
Hey.
to attack a minion there than the face if you, even if you know that it's freezing trap?
is it high?
if it
Is
was
it more
Snake
likable? It's Snake Trap. What if explosive trap?
If it was explosive trap, then
You feel it's pretty silly too, to be honest.
yeah.
Oh, you feel pretty silly either ways. So just pick one, right?
Right,
I mean,
pick your
explosive trap,
poison.
you want to nuke your board for 2? No, well, that's pretty bad. Oh man, the Void Terror would have been so good with the Power Warming, but no can do.
Yeah, too expensive for, at least at the moment.
So do you just eat the spiders here?
Yeah, I think he was contemplating if he can also toss in the owl. Like, if you just make it a 3-2 when you kill off the 2-1, so that way you force an awkward trade. But that weapon does complicate stuff. It makes it kind of irrelevant.
Well, Leok here would be actually the best, right?
What's wrong with Highmane, though? If you just drop Highmane and just get past the Voidwalker normally, you have a
Okay.
5-5 and a 6-5.
Oh, I don't know. I feel like you have so much damage off of playing Animal Companion and Wolf Rider. Because Lothab into a Voidwalker is not really what you want to see. I do want to clear off the 1-1 here, though. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good. But
yep. I think your board is really intimidating at this point. So yeah, I retract everything I say.
this is a very good play, right? I mean, you can Power Warming the egg, and then make a very big Void Terror along with a 4/4, and then Argus them up next turn.
Yeah, set up for Dr. Boom. You force your opponent to trade a little bit down, and then
Many possibilities.
let Dr. Boom bring you back.
Oh
Or
wow,
shall
so
I say,
greedy.
explode you back into the game. Oh, never mind.
So greedy though. Tapping, Jesus. What does he want to find? Implosion for 4? Oh, that was so greedy. Ah.
Let's see. So he's going to silence the Hymen here. And what he wants to do is he wants to get the Nerubian egg out first, so that way he can get the power overwhelming synergy. But how much damage can he be taking this turn?
So 11 from this. So it's 8. So Wolf Rider plus Leok and Hero Power. You can't Hero Power. So Leok is not quite lethal yet, but he's put down to 1. Oh, no, that's
Puffer
if I said right.
is 1 damage off lethal. So you don't have to Wolf Rider. You can okay. Well,
No,
you can
of
Wolf
course you
Rider.
do.
You can also Haunted. Oh wait, he has Argus, right? Yeah.
No. You want to put your opponent down to 1 or 2 in the Hunter's
Yeah, so you can do the same thing with Hero Power and play Haunted Creeper.
Right. You
And
cannot
keep the
implosion
wolf.
yourself. Oh man, you can't implosion yourself. Did you know that?
Yeah, I found out the hard way whenever I
Well,
I tried imploding myself one time, and I was like, oh, game prevents me from being bad. Okay.
You know there was a bug when GVG was first released and you can Shadow Flame yourself?
Oh, that's right. You can Shadow Flame your own hero portrait for 0
Yeah.
damage and die.
yeah, that was a little bug
Yeah,
there.
that was
but it's
really
fixed.
funny. You
Yeah,
can
that
actually
was-
Shadow Flame yourself too if you're Jiraxis and do 3 damage on the board.
Wow.
Yeah, because it takes the attack of whatever it is.
That's AoE, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that's we'll call it a last
Resort.
resort. but it was possible. And I think the only way that it could have worked out okay is if you need to get past a taunt to kill his boombots, to kill your boombots, to kill him and tie.
Whoa! That's very next level.
Yes, that was actually the only scenario. I remember someone telling me that.
So you
I think
are
it was
the
Crip.
best Hearthstone player, but you
No,
just...
I think Crip just knows too many weird, awkward.
Oh,
frame
Crip
scenarios.
said it. Oh man.
I think he was telling me that, but it could have been someone else.
Okay.
Someone was like telling me like how that would be applicable.
Well, here we did see that the Hunter did beat the Savage Zoo. So we're gonna move on to the next match. Once again, Team Liquid is on match point. So as soon as Savage wins, then they can all go out and celebrate for the first week victory and join the winners of Nihilum. Who else won? Forsen Boys, and who's the other guy? Who's the other team that won this week?
So sorry, you cut out. You're asking about who won so far?
Okay,
so we
no,
had
who won so
Force
far?
and Boys win today, and then yesterday we had Team
Nihilum?
Archon go up against Nihilum, which Nihilum was able to
Nihilum.
take out.
Nihilum
And then
is-
Cloud9, yeah. And then Cloud9 got a really
Value Town.
bad set against Value Town, where Kibler
Yeah.
was able to win those games, and they were able to take that series. So.
Oh. And so far, if I pull this trusty sheet over me, the only people who got 2-0 are Firebat, Life Coach, Kibler, Ekop, Forsen, and Silent Storm, and Iria as well. So these are the only
And
guys
Shocky.
who went 2-0. Chalky?
Shocky. Yeah.
No,
Remember-
yeah, Chucky. Yeah, Chucky's 2-0 as well. Yeah.
And you also said only with like the tone as like we don't have many. And you're like
Yeah.
only, a third of the league ended up going 2-0. It's like, wow, well that actually ended up being a lot more
Okay, well, there is one only statistic, and that's Calento, who
That's
never won
right.
a single game.
Okay, so now that's the context where you can say only, right?
Yeah, but
Where it's like
you don't-
he's the only player that hasn't won a game.
but it's bad news. Usually you don't want to focus on the bad news.
Well, I think it's an interesting storyline, particularly if you juxtapose it with how Calento normally is a dominant player over
true.
large variance, or sorry, a large sample size, because you're supposed to take like how more games means more chances for the better players to win. So Calento comes in with like a big reputation, potentially being the best player of the batch, at least if you ask the majority of the people watching and playing, and yet he's the only one without a win. Now
Speaking
there are
of which, I have to mention this really quickly. The person who actually does the best in the round robin phase, and actually makes it to the grand finale as well, so the best win percentage, gets a $5,000 extra bounty. So
cool.
That's
you should
a
call
little-
it you should just call it MVP award. Whoever gets
no, we
the-
call it the Master of Duels, the MOD.
Uh,
And they also get it. And they also get
Maz.
odd in my channel. You know.
you had so much potential to call it a lot of
No,
things.
no,
We
no.
call it Master of Duels?
Yeah, that
Sounds like
really
a
good
bad
word.
app in the iTunes store.
Oh my.
It probably
God.
is.
Hey, iTunes Store is pretty amazing. Okay.
It is for monetization values on cheap app games like Master of Duels. No one wants that. You should have called them the most valuable MVT, most valuable top decker.
Oh
That
my-
would have been sick.
Okay, let's get into the game here. Savage is once again queuing up his Zulok. That's the only deck left to win. And Tidler is going to step up to plate with his Warrior deck.
It's
And
the
we do
Grim
know it's
Patron
Patron.
Warrior.
Yeah, we do know it's Patron. So it's actually a good matchup.
Yes.
What's it do?
Generally speaking. Now, we have seen awkward draws in Patron in the past. In fact, I kind of hope that you guys do some kind of statistical breakdown. I don't know if you guys will be doing it or other people who are big fans. This guy just
sure.
loves doing it. Loves breaking down stuff. But I really like to see the win percentage of some of these decks. Because I feel like Grim Patron Warrior has just been subpar, to say the least.
Okay.
And I can't say why exactly. I feel like maybe there's too many unfortunate sequence of draws. Maybe the variance in terms of how they're preparing their decks. Like, for example, Tidler puts shield block, and other people don't. So I'm wondering. I'm curious, man. Why do you think Grim Patron hasn't been succeeding as much?
To be honest, what I think is that they've been killing themselves a lot. They have.
You mean the blowback is too high?
Whoa! Wait a minute. Whoa! Did Tidler just not attack the face there with the armor smith?
Oh, you're right. I was looking at the match
Oh.
history bar, but you know, the
Yeah.
Armor Smith is a very pacifist card. It wants everyone to get along.
Okay. Well, obviously that was a mistake. Let's just say that first. But I actually think that
Playing
Hearthstone
around
might,
Moonjots.
I think Hearthstone needs more Ancient Watcher-esque type of cards, you know? Things that can't attack. I think
Yeah,
that would be pretty cool.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
I would actually really like a, you know how there's defender type cards or wall type cards in other CCGs or TCGs?
Oh yeah. So like taunt
that-
and can't attack.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Wall or defender type cards.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. And control decks would really love that. It's just aggro decks have been really dominant so far in the meta, so I wouldn't be too unhappy if they introduced those cards.
It could be like a 1/2 taunt. Every damage it takes is 1 damage type thing. Like those kinds of things are really interesting and dynamic because then Priest has like legitimate ways to make it.
Oh
really
man,
good.
if Priest buffs up those minions, that would be pretty
Yeah, those kinds of cards exist. I'm not like reinventing the wheel. These are cards that exist in other games. But nonetheless, Tilo doesn't need any of that. He's got a bunch of ways to dissect this aggressive board seizing through his own means.
cool. Okay.
And the challenge is that Zoo needs to establish a board to pressure the warrior before it can start answering its threats through mass combos. But
Okay.
it's not really doing that.
Bane of Doom.
Is it? Should it be Bane of Doom? Not Lothar?
Yeah, Bane of Doom! Obviously, it should Bane of Doom. Actually, I like Lothar after a Despite, so we can propagate more patrons with, like, you know, stuff like Inner Rage and stuff like that. But, man, Bane of Doom is so juicy here. Like, what if you get Mal'Ganis?
If you get Mal'Ganis, do you just, like, win? Because he can't answer it with... there's no execute.
Yeah. Actually, I think Doomguard sometimes is better than Mal'Ganis.
Oh, Sea Giant.
Oh, Siege. Oh, that's actually way smarter, actually.
That's really smart. We forgot about the Haunted Creepers being able to split into 2.
Yeah.
Bane of Doom is still pretty enticing, but
No, I think it's really
I
hard
think
to play Sea
Sea
Giant.
Giant,
I think Sea
yes.
Giant's the way the better play. Because, like, patrons usually kill all your stuff after the AoE. And if you play a Sea Giant into patrons, I don't think they really care about it. So, yeah, I like this play a lot.
yeah, I mean, if you think about other ways that this class or this deck can struggle with, if you think about how it compares to Handlock and how it deals with bigger threats, the Sea Giant being put out was almost the same exact timing. It's like a turn 5, 8/8. You know, how else do you deal with it other than execute? And even if you have execute, you have the ways to deal with it immediately. Like you have to have a minion on board plus a way to activate it.
Yeah, it's, if you put it that way, it's kind of like, what's this face called? The Fel Reaver, right? Pretty much.
Oh yeah, sure. Fel Reaver with no drawback.
No drawback at all.
Yeah.
That's
That's why Fel Reaver needs a buff. You want to
Really?
hear something really funny, Amaz? I think you would shake your head when you hear this.
Okay.
But I remember like Reyna was telling me how much he didn't like Fel Reaver, even though he really wanted to. Oh, that's terrible.
That's pretty bad.
He was telling me that even if Fel Reaver was a 30-30, he wouldn't play it.
Wow.
And then this was like a couple months ago, you know. And then
Okay.
he's like, even if it was a 50-50, he wouldn't play it. And I was like, really? And he's like, okay, maybe if it was a 29-29, I wouldn't play it. And I was like, oh my god.
Okay.
Fel Reaver needs a buff, TLDR.
Mm-hmm.
He said sarcastically before people start taking him seriously.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, this Sea Giant can get followed up with more threats.
Wow, looks like Savage is in a pretty dominating position here, and
Yeah.
it's just because Tiller didn't really draw the Despite
No,
in time, really.
Yeah, no Despite, no executes.
Yeah, and I think that's it, and Tiller's gonna pretty much
Oh.
drop this game.
Yeah, there's no way for him to survive this much damage.
No way.
He won't even survive the next swing on board. There's 13, and he would be at 13 max health.
Well, it seems like Kalento's gonna gain a buddy here, as Tiller also goes 0-4.
Oh my goodness. I think there's a weird coincidence, Amaz. If you win a DreamHack, one of the hardest tournaments in the world for Hearthstone,
Oh, man.
you end up going 0-4.
0-4. Mm-mm-mm.
It's
And
pretty bad.
yeah, if you kind of
And-
go with that kind of record, I don't
Yeah.
think your teammates can really, carry you that much. But maybe it's just just this week. Hopefully, the Team Celestial will come back for more. But for this week, the first one, Team Liquid is going to get the victory.
It's highly unrepresentative of how Tiddler even, like, again, Tiddler and Kalento, these are two really amazing players.
Yeah.
And they end up being not necessarily the liabilities, just that they ended up having to lose. You have to kind of see it as a team, as a cohesive unit, because they're bringing a lineup. Conquest is about lineups. It's not about individual decks.
Okay.
And so if you think about it that way, the teams have to play kind of as one entity, so to speak. It just happens
Makes
that
sense.
it breaks down to the who's controlling or who's piloting the decks.
Yeah.
So you can point at Tiddler, you can point at Kalento, but ultimately it's
Team effort.
a team effort. So Team Celestial is the one that loses here, not Tiddler. For everybody. I
All
just want to
right.
go ahead and throw it out there.
Okay, for
I
that.
do have a
That's good.
question though, Amaz. If we're gonna go ahead and give $5,000 to the MVT, doesn't it favor certain people from playing like the best decks, and that way you encourage a little discourse between the players? Like, I'm gonna play the best deck so I can get the best record. And it's like, you can't play. You have to play Paladin. You don't get it. Yeah.
Well, it's just a little bonus thing, and I guess winning is important, right? Yeah. Don't need to go. You don't need to focus on 5K bounty when you have the $250,000. Are you really gonna call that prize MVT now? It's the Master of
Yes.
Duels. Okay. God damn it. Do we have a standings chart for the viewers right now? I hope we do. We have it updated. So we
right,
can actually recap on the whole week. Well, this is the recap for this series. Team Liquid does beat Celestial without Tiddler winning a single game. Unfortunate for them. But we will see them next week. And of course, we'll see Liquid next week along with all the teams for new decks and new games as well. If we kind of wait for this frame to pass.
Yeah. Guys, this is the end of the week. We have 2 days a week, I believe, for the Archon
Yes,
League.
that's
We have 4
correct.
teams to play, or 8 teams, 4 teams play per day. And so the next week we'll be having on Thursday, July 8th. Well, we'll mix
Yes.
it up once again with who plays whom. The standings haven't updated, but just to go ahead and show you can go ahead and vision it. We have Value Town, Nihilum, Force and Boys, and Team Liquid taking their first series. But most importantly, for the second place teams, which is, 4 of them tied for second. I guess they're tied for 5th, though, if you want to keep technically.
Well, the game wins should be kind of, sorted out the placements. But we'll fix that.
I guess so.
Don't worry about that. But
Game
once
wins do matter, though. Celestial only ended up winning how many?
there-
3? Yeah. So
Yeah.
they're tied with Cloud9 for last place.
Well, we do have the next week's matchups in. It's actually all in the schedule if you look into our website, which is teamarchon.com/league. We're actually going to improve the page with more graphics soon. But week 2, which is once again July 8th, it's going to be Value Town versus Force and Boys. That's going to be amazing. The 2 teams with all the players. And we're going to also get Archon versus Temple Storm. Now, that will be also a pretty exciting match.
No,
Oh, man.
Are you gonna cast that with me, Amaz?
Oh, we'll see. We'll see.
No?
No,
I'm not. I might not even be casting that one. You have to
yeah,
remove
but okay.
me.
I'm
'Cause I think I would
definitely
play up.
not
I think
gonna
I would
cast-
play up and manufacture too much drama.
Maybe, but it'll be fun, right? No, the point is, like, I'm not supposed to be casting this. I'm supposed to be like on the behind the scenes and actually trying to work all the assets and calling out the people to do this and do that. And it went pretty well actually with me casting as well. I'm kind of the backup. But shout out to all the production guys and everybody behind the scenes. You're doing fantastic. Shout out to the casters as well. Frodan, you're amazing as always.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for stopping in and being able to sub in. We stabbed Wreckful, but we'll go ahead and hold the candle until later.
Yeah. All right. So I guess we can wrap this up.
That's right. Thank you so much for everybody watching. Make sure to hit the follow button on the channel. We'll see you guys next week on Thursday, July 8th at 10 a.m. Pacific. Same channel. We'll see you guys then. Have a good night.
Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday. We'll see you guys Wednesday.